The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Bag it, Belichick. The Jets finally end their losing streak against the Patriots in the final game of the 2023 season. Was the win a good thing or a bad thing? The biggest takeaways and much more. We'll talk about it in the final postgame show of the 2023 season. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
Man, at least we have the lane train.
How is everything? Yes.
Due to various uncertainties surrounding my position as it relates to the team's new ownership, I've decided to resign as the head coach of the New York Jets.
Bill Belichick, please stop.
Anybody can be beat.
Give the Jets credit. It's a good football team.
Just name your dang starter. It doesn't matter. They both stink.
We're a good football team.
Whether it's Zappy, P-Shooter Jones, we don't care. They stink. Just go ahead and save the drama.
Well coached. Did a good job.
Like we care about your team. Your team stinks.
I don't know.
Tom Brady was the only reason you won anyway.
Can't wait.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jet. We had Garrett Wilson. Let's go.
We have Bruce Hall.
Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now let's complain about it.
The goddamn Jets.
It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go on the final postgame show of the season. If you're watching live, hit the like button. If you're not watching live, hit the like button. Make sure if you're tuned in, you subscribe to the channel, as we will continue to bring you daily Jet content all throughout the most important offseason in the history of the New York Jets franchise. More on that coming up. But as far as the actual game, Jets win 17-3. They end this god-awful 15-game losing streak against the Patriots, and they send off Bill Belichiat with an L. All right? Before we sit here and say, oh, how could they win? Let's get this out of the way. Players and coaches play to win the game. All right? No one's going out there and losing on purpose. And no matter where the Jets end up picking, if the Jets are going to ever be a good team with this regime, then you know what? You find a way to get a good player no matter where you end up. And right now the Jets are at 9 as I sit here and do this postgame show. Perhaps they stay at 9. Perhaps they fall back 1 or 2 spots. The bottom line is this. There are more than just 1 or 2 good offensive tackles in this draft class, or 1 or 2 receivers in this draft class. And the Jets should be able to find a way to get a good player no matter where they're picking in the first round. So you know what? Whether they won or lost today, I was going to deal with the results. But the way they won today, I think you should be thrilled if you're a Jet fan. The defense dominated a pathetic Patriots offense. And you know what? It's pretty awesome to see Breece Hall once again, for the second time in 3 games, basically win a game by himself. What Breece Hall has done this year, eclipsing over 1,500 scrimmage yards, nearly 1,000 rushing yards, coming off a season in which he tore his ACL, dealing with the worst quarterback room in the NFL, the worst play caller in the NFL, the worst O-line in the NFL. That should get you excited for next year, because this team has 2 true top 5 guys at their respective positions in Breece and Garrett Wilson. There's talent on this team. We know there's talent on the defense. And now it's going to be all about this regime putting all the resources into the offense and fixing that side of the ball and getting back a healthy Aaron Rodgers. If they do nothing but besides extend Bryce Huff, who had 2 more sacks today and finished with now over 10 on the season, and then invest everything else on that side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, I'm good with it as a Jet fan. Everything the Jets do from this point forward should be to fix this offense. Because this offense is Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, and everything else could be improved if possible. I think you could live with the tight ends, but outside of that, everything now needs to be about improving this offense. But, I mean, we have to start by acknowledging what Brees did today because he was sensational. Or as we refer to him on this show, what Bruce went out there and did today, basically spanking Belichick all by himself. And that's what makes it, to me, so much more impressive. What do we hear about Belichick? Oh, he's going to take away your best player. He's not going to let your best player beat you. Well, Brees Hall single-handedly beat Bill Belichick in his last game. So I'm going to enjoy that as a fan because you know what? I'm not going to get so worked up over the draft picks or where the Jets are picking or, oh my God, now the Patriots could take a quarterback. How'd it work the last time they took a quarterback in the first round? How's Mac Jones doing? Please. We have no idea if Drake May or Caleb Williams or insert whoever is going to be any good. It is all a crapshoot. A year ago at this time, Texans fans were freaking out that their team won a game and it cost them Bryce Young in the draft. A year later, the Panthers have Bryce Young. He looks terrible. They're the worst team in the league. They don't even have their own pick. And the Texans last night won the AFC South officially. Ultimately, the draft is a crapshoot. So if you're that worked up over the draft pick stuff, I don't know what to tell you. If Joe Douglas is good at his job, and I have major doubts about that, he's done some good. He certainly has done some bad. The Jets right now picking 9, maybe could fall to as low as 10 or 11 or 12, I suppose. Can figure something out and get a good player. There's more than one good tackle, more than one good receiver. You figure it out. There's nothing wrong with winning. And you know what? As bad as this season has been, for the Jets to finish with 7 games just shows you that if they could get a healthy Aaron Rodgers and just have an adequate offensive line and add a receiver next to Garrett Wilson with how good this defense is and how good Thomas Morstead and Greg Zuerlein are, who both, by the way, need to be re-signed, there's a path for this team being in the playoffs next year. People are going to say, no way, it's crazy. Every year there's a team that goes from worst to first in the NFL. Multiple teams do it. So you won 7 games last year. You won 7 games this year with having the worst quarterback room in the NFL for 2 straight years. Certainly this year, because last year at least you had the Mike White games where the offense was competent and Flacco gave you the moment against the Browns. This year, I mean, the quarterback play was basically all bad besides the Texans game from Zach. That's it. And you won 7 games. You finished winning 3 of your last 5. Does it mean all that much? I mean, probably not, but at least it's something. Because losing today, would I have been that upset? No, but you know what? I think it's easier to picture a jump from 7 to 10 next year or 7 to 11 than maybe it would have been if it was 6 and 11 and another loss to the Patriots. This Patriots team is an abomination. The Patriot way, my ass. You know what the Patriot way is? You have the greatest quarterback of all time for 20 years. But you know what? You won the game. Thankfully, it didn't appear like you suffered any significant injuries. Garrett Wilson did, in fact, clear concussion protocol. They said he had a neck injury, so they were keeping him out. He'll have all offseason to get healthy now. We're waiting to hear on Joe Tippmann, but hopefully his thing is not that serious. But ultimately, you won the game. This god-awful streak is over. And now you just find a way to build on this and improve the team in the offseason. But you know what? I'm not going to sit here and be upset that the Jets spanked Bill Belichick in his last game as the Patriot head coach. And don't fall for the media spin job that you're going to see out there. I'll read you an example. This is from Albert Breer, who's got Bill Belichick's you-know-what shoved so far up as you-know-what. He tweeted the following: Bill Belichick ending his 24-year run as Patriots coach by knocking the Jets down in the draft order and costing them the tackle they need might actually be the way he would have drawn it up. Yeah, I am sure that Bill Belichick in his last game definitely wanted to lose to the Jets and help the Patriots get a better draft pick. I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted to do. It's nonsense. You saw how angry Bill was during this game. He wanted to win, and he realized, wow, I can't even beat the Jets anymore. So take the L. Don't let anyone try and spin it. You won this game. Brees Hall continued to prove how great he is. And you have some building blocks on this team. But now it's all about fixing the O-line, adding skill position players next to Garrett. And if they do that, there's a path to go from 7 to 10 next year, 7 to 11. But I'm sorry, I can't watch a game like today and see Breece Hall have 37 carries because the weather was awful and they just kept feeding him and he kept making plays. 178 yards, you kidding me? That touchdown run was unbelievable. 50 yards. Like, that's how you want the streak to end if you're going to win like that. Like, if they had just won 10-3, it'd be fine. But I feel better about the win, as crazy as that sounds, because of the way it ended. The way they had that moment at the end to stick it to Belichick on the way out. So, look, some other things from this game, other than the ridiculous fumble after the great interception, Aston Davis is someone that has continued to play well this year, had another really good game today. He's got to be a priority re-sign. The two players on this team that need to be re-signed on defense are Bryce Huff and Aston Davis. Special teams-wise, you need to re-sign Thomas Morstead and Greg Zuerlein. I'd argue if you could find a way to bring back Justin Hardy, I think there's some value in that. And then outside of that, offensively, everything they do is to add to the two foundational blue chip talents this team has in place in Garrett and Breece. But what Breece has done once again, I cannot say enough great things about his season. To have over 1,500 scrimmage yards, nearly 1,000 rushing, coming off an ACL injury with this O-line, this quarterback situation, and this play caller, Breece Hall's got a legitimate chance to be the best running back in the NFL next year with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. That's how special he is. So I'm not going to sit here and be upset that the Jets won because they have arguably the best player at their position in the league going off today. Against a Bill Belichick coach team, but he always takes away what you do great. Enough. They won. It is what it is. If the Jets can't find a way to get a good player in the first round, no matter where they're picking, I don't know what to tell you. And this idea that New England, they're going to get Drake May now or one of these quarterbacks, we have no idea if any of these guys are going to be any good. How's the Trevor Lawrence, outrage going, Jet fans? Oh, how could the Jets have won that Rams game when meanwhile they needed to also lose the Browns game the following week and finish 0-16 that year, which is not realistic. You don't see a team go 0-16 in the NFL that often. Oh, they couldn't get Trevor Lawrence. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is a nice quarterback. He's not this generational piece that was winning all these championships if the Jets got him. How are the 8-3 Jaguars doing? Oh, they're out of the playoffs because they collapsed like the 08 Jets? Oh, my goodness. Like, people need to calm down when we anoint these quarterbacks. Jets aren't going quarterback in round one, which is why I don't mind that they won today. Stack wins. This team can't get used to losing because you can't have it both ways, Jet fans. You can't criticize Robert Saleh's coaching record and then root for them to lose and say, well, he lost again to the Pats. Well, now he won today. So now that's all of a sudden a problem? You can't have it both ways. All right? Ultimately, this coaching staff did a bad job overall this year. This GM did, in my opinion, an even worse job. But they're coming back, so I'm going to root for them. I hope that they learn from this year and they can go out there and have a solid offseason and that can take this team from a 7-win team to a playoff team next year. And when you think about it, for this team to win 7 games, despite having to play the worst quarterback situation in the NFL the entire year, is a testament to how good the defense was for most of the year and how good the special teams has been. So now you get Rodgers back. You get a legitimate number 2 wide receiver because the idea that Allen Lazard is going to be that is a joke. Another healthy and active for him today. And you invest all your resources into the O-line, and more O-line, there's a path for this team to be good next year. Do I have questions about the head coach? Absolutely. Do I have questions about Hackett? For sure. Do I want them to still make offensive staff changes? Absolutely. But I'm not going to do the doom and gloom thing because they won a game today. All right, if you want that, find a different show. All right? They kicked the crap out of Bill Belichick in his last game in New England. And it was poetic justice watching him with that ski mask trying to cover his shame walking off the field today. So I enjoyed it. All right? Got a lot of things we can complain about with the Jets this year, but I'm not going to do the doom and gloom thing after they beat the Patriots for the first time in over 2,000 days, nearly 3,000 days. You know, this is the first regular season win they've had in Foxborough since Brett Favre was the quarterback. In 2008, the Thursday night game, Leon Washington was a monster that night. Cotry had one of the most incredible catches a Jet receivers ever made that night. Yeah, that game. And before that, the last time they won in Foxborough was the playoff win, January 16th, 2011. But you know, who's counting? So please, all right, I'm not going to sit here and be that upset that they finally beat Belichick and the Patriots. And if the Patriots end up drafting a quarterback, cool, good for them. We have no idea if that guy's going to be any good. No idea. But to sit here and worry about it when very easily the Jets could have lost this game today and New England was still going to take a quarterback, I'm not going to do the doom and gloom thing. And if Joe Douglas can do his job well, which at times he's done, he'll find a good player in the draft. Last I checked, Garrett Wilson was the 10th overall pick. Last I checked, Jermaine Johnson was the 26th overall pick. Breece Hall was the 36th overall pick. You got to pick players, man. It's not about where you pick, it's who you pick. So I'm not going to freak out over draft positioning when it's out of our control as fans. With that being said, I'll open it up to your calls on our Gustbuster Umbrella hotline. And for the final time, before I get into your super chats, let's talk about Copper John's Beard Company. They're still sticking around with us, of course, but they have been our post-game show sponsor the entire season. The post-game show is sponsored by Copper John's Beard Company. Check out the website, copperjohnsbeard.com. And while you're there, use the promo code JAKE20 to get 20% off on any of their incredible men's grooming products. Beard oils, beard balm, mustache wax, shampoos, conditioners, cologne, deodorant. They have something for everyone. I am a huge, huge fan of Copper John's products. I got them all in my apartment right now. My favorite thing to use, though, is Copper John's beard oil. I'm telling you, if you're someone who's never used beard products before, like me, you're going to never not want to use them going forward. I mean, it makes your beard smooth, makes it smell nice. If you're someone like me who always would have like the beard itching, well, you use Copper John's products and you don't have that problem anymore. So they're the best. I want to thank Tyson, the founder of the company, for sponsoring the post-game show all season long. Tyson is a Jet fan, so if you support me by supporting him, you're supporting a fellow family-owned, Jet fan-owned business. So check it out, copperjohnsbeard.com. Once again, use the promo code JAKE20 to get 20% off any of their excellent men's grooming products. So here we go. Let's open it up to your comments and questions. Super chats. We'll cut the line. We'll get to your calls, of course. And Rat Diddy starts us off with a $20 super chat. Belichick's last taste in New England was a butt whooping by the Jets, where he became the leader of most L's in NFL history. And we end up with the 10th spot in the draft. Chicago L, Vegas W. I'm good, baby. Move on, tanksters. Fuego going to be right there for us. Fuego's my guy. So if you tell me, Rat Diddy, that the Jets end up with the Oregon State tackle, I'm good with it. So fine by me. Because ultimately, it's not about where you pick. It is who you pick. And for Belichick to lose to the Jets in his last game, if you don't think that eats him up alive inside, you haven't been paying attention. So I am right there with you, Rat Diddy. Amen. Forever Ron says, happy celebrations, everyone. Cheers. All right? Cheers. They won the damn game. Winning is not a bad thing. Let's not pretend like all of a sudden it is. Sean says, Bruce is so him, but only the Jets can minimize the outcome fans have been yearning for 8 years. Hope Garrett Wilson's okay. Jet up. I think Garrett's going to be fine. He was cleared to come back in from a concussion. They said he was dealing with a neck. He's got all offseason to be healthy. Shout out to Bruce Hall. Speaking of Bruce Hall, I think it's time to get to some calls, baby. The Lane train is starting us off. Lane, what do you got for us?
How are you?
Lane.
Yeah, so I watched the game. What a tremendous end of the year game. I thought they were going to lose and they won. I mean, how do you feel about it?
Lane, I feel great.
Yeah, I mean, how about the it snowed also. So do you think maybe who do you go and pick next year in the draft going to 2024?
Lane, can I backtrack? You were going to ask me about the snow, but then you pivoted to the draft.
Yeah. So how about the snow?
How about it? I mean, it looked like it was a winter wonderland.
Well, it looked like Christmas on the field. We see Santa. Yes. Yeah, I know it's all white, but anyway. So who do the Jets draft going into next year?
I'm hoping it's the best available offensive lineman.
Is there anybody out of Michigan and in Florida State that they could pick?
Why Florida State? Michigan, I understand because they're playing tomorrow, but why Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, so like, who do you see Michigan drafting into next year?
Well, Michigan won't draft anyone because they're a college team.
Yeah, I mean, like, picture like if like I just don't see the Jets signing Bill Belichick. He's his season's over.
I agree, Lane. Thank you. Kings stay kings, folks. Kings stay kings. That's what we needed right there. A Jet win and a Lane Train victorious call. How about the broadcast, by the way? Shout out to all the listeners who tagged me in this on Twitter. Robert Smith accidentally called Brees Bruce. I mean, the Lane Train influence in this game today, folks. I mean, it was everywhere. Adams is too cool, writes in. How about winning a crappy weather game? Go Brees. Yeah, I mean, they won a crappy weather game against the Texans, too. Brees went like Curtis Martin in the snow against the Steelers today. I mean, Brees was phenomenal. Sexy Rexy's watching. Let's effing go F the Pats and Belichiat. Once again, if you can't enjoy a win over the Patriots in Belichick's last game, I don't know what to tell you. And also, looking at what could easily happen here, the Bears very easily could beat the Packers, and the Raiders could very easily beat the Broncos, and then all of a sudden, the Jets are still picking at 9. So, I mean, I'm just not going to freak out. Chris writes in with a super chat. Great win. Glad that's out of the way. One less monkey on our back next year. Playoffs are bust in 24. No excuses. Yeah. I mean, because here's how I look at it. The reality is you're probably going to face the Patriots twice before the last game of the season next year. Right? Because given the schedule, it seems likely they wouldn't have Jets-Patriots be the final game of the year again next year. So you're playing either the Bills or the Dolphins the last game of the regular season next year. Meaning the Patriots, who should be a dog crap team again next year, should be 2 wins that the Jets need to be able to get in the regular season before you get to the last game of the year when who knows who's playing for what at that point. So that's like next level thinking I'm looking at it. So yeah, get the streak out of the way so there's less pressure on those games next year. It's like just win. From 3 Steph Gaming, happy this abysmal season ended with a W. Looking forward to next year. Thanks for all you do, Jake. Steph, thank you for watching. Look, this year's been a nightmare. This win doesn't change that. But finishing with the same amount of wins as you had last year, despite worse quarterback play, that's not nothing. I have major questions about Robert Saleh and this offensive staff, but we know this defense is still legit. And we know this special teams, assuming they bring back Morstead and Zerline, which you have no reason to think they wouldn't, is still legit. If they could have an adequate, I'm not even asking for a good O-line, an adequate offensive line and 8's back healthy next year, I mean, they could be a playoff team. It's not crazy. I have questions if they could win a championship with this regime. But the first step's getting into the playoffs. And at this time next year, they better be in the playoffs or everyone's out of a job. Striker writes in, anytime we beat the Pats, it's a good day. The draft's unpredictable. Have we looked at our top picks over the years? Less pressure, further down we are. I just hate the idea that there's like no more good players after the first 5 picks. It's nonsense. Ryan writes in, thanks for delivering great content through all the ups and downs this season, Jake. Gonna enjoy breaking the streak with some McAllen 12. Have a Chipotle bowl on me. Cheers to you, Ryan. Cheers to you. Jordan writes in, Jeff mathematician got the yard number wrong for Brees. Jets priority needs this offseason will be a mathematician. 0.7/0 once we fix this whole 2024. Is this a joke? I don't quite follow this one, Jordan, but I appreciate the super chat. Leany checks in, been a channel member for 4 months. Shout out to all our channel members. Hit that join button if you want to become a channel member. Your comment is more likely to be read. You get custom emojis. You get a custom badge next to your name. I'm happy the streak is finally over. Brees the Beast was on fire. This team played hard today. I enjoyed the game. They didn't quit on their coach. That's got to matter for something. Remember the talk was, well, what if they got destroyed today? What if they got embarrassed today? And I said, well, you know what? Even if that happened, I don't think Woody was going to change his mind. So you might as well win the game. Yo, it's Vin says, With a competent O-line and quarterback, Hall is 2.5 to 3,000 yards scrimmage. With a competent offensive line and a competent quarterback, I mean, Brees Hall is certainly capable of going over 2,000 scrimmage yards. There's no doubt. Doug says, I get the vibe we tag Bryce Huff. Look, under any circumstance, can you just let him walk for nothing? If you're not going to pay him, which I would vehemently disagree with, I think the Jets have not had this much edge talent in years. You don't let one of your best players go because, oh, well, we drafted Will McDonald. No, you keep Bryce Huff. But the minimum is that you tag him so you have him under control, and worst case, could tag and trade him if you're going to move on from him and you can get something from him. But they need to keep Huff. Let's get to more of your calls right now on the Gusbuster hotline. Dre is up next. What's up, Dre? Dre, you're on mute.
My bad. I was listening. I had a lot of noise around here before. But what's up? Welcome. Happy New Year. First time we talked in 2024. Shout out to the Discord and shout out to all my people on Patreon. I could not be happier. This is the one thing I wanted. I wanted this more than anything else. I could not take another loss to Belichick. I can't stand him. I'm so glad he goes. Whatever team he goes to, I'm going to hate them as much as I hate the Patriots. Because the only reason why I hated the Patriots was because of Belichick. Tom Brady, all that. I didn't really care. I was rooting for Tom Brady when he went to Tampa Bay, and I'm glad that he won. And it was in Belichick's face. He had to eat that. And he had to eat this loss today. And I couldn't get it on my show around here. For some reason, upstate New York wasn't carrying it as the first game, which I thought was weird, but whatever. I know, ratings and all that other stuff plays a role. But I got to listen to the game. I was rooting. I had my hat. I was cheering. So I always said, F them picks. You know what? Wherever we pick is where we pick. I talk draft during the draft time, not when the season's going on. So,
amen.
Props to everybody. Shout out Bruce Hall. That's my guy. I gotta get my Bruce Hall. I gotta get my Bruce Hall jersey. I'm trying to get him custom made. Something. I swear to God, if this ever gets back to Brees and then he starts like embracing it, that'll be the greatest thing ever. I'm gonna try and hit him up on Twitter see if he's watching. Yeah. Right. Happy Jet Victory Sunday. JETS. Jets. Let's go. I'll holler at you from the office.
Dre, I love it, man. Be excited about beating the Patriots because ultimately the draft is the draft. You got to hit on the player. That's more important than where you're picking. I'll deal with the consequences of this win if they move down a couple spots. It doesn't excuse Joe Douglas from, not being able to find a good player. I mean, did the Ravens ever pick in the top 10? No. How often do the Eagles really pick in the top 10? The Niners haven't had a first-round pick in years. You got to just be able to draft good players. And honestly, the biggest issue for the Jets is not even their first-round stuff. It's the mid-rounds. They've done terrible. The best teams are able to find diamond in the rough players. Look at the Rams. Look what they've been able to do. Last I checked, Puka Nacua wasn't a first-round pick. Neither was Cooper Kupp. Neither were some of their defensive studs they've had. People saying the Eagles picked in the top 10 last offseason. Yeah, because they made a great trade. It wasn't their own pick. Big fella says, I'm happy with Fuega. And then so you're also happy with Rome Odunze, the receiver from Washington, and Brock Bowers. I don't want Bowers, big fella, but Fuega would be my preference out of the names you mentioned. I'm not against receiver either, but I think O-line has to be the priority. Has to be. The only receiver I would consider taking would be Marvin Harrison Jr., and I don't think that's happening because I don't think he's getting out of the top 3. And if he does get out of the top 3, it's because quarterbacks went 1, 2, and 3 like what happened in 2021. Sean writes in, in what scenario are you okay taking a quarterback in round 1? There isn't a scenario. I don't want a quarterback in round 1. Rodgers is playing 2 more years in my mind, so if I'm going to do a quarterback in the draft, I'm not doing it till next year. M. King with a super chat. Glad the season's over and we broke the Pat streak. Brees, And D, Beasted. Thanks for the great content, Jake. Hashtag Jet Up. M King, I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat and for being a channel member. Look, Quentin Williams was great today. Bryce Huff was great today. Jermaine was great today. Sauce had a great game. Michael Carter had a great game. Aston Davis had a great game. Quincy had a great game. Yeah, the defense dominated. Good to see them hold on. Played with the lead and closed them out. That's what this defense is built to do. And unfortunately, they just haven't had that many opportunities to do it this year. Doug says, I want Fuego. We need a big Pacific Islander. Fuego's a beast. Jay writes in, I never have to see Zach Wilson again. Bill Belichiat is gone. Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback. Ended the season with a win in Foxborough. P.S. Alan McShay, time for a new mock draft. Love it. We have all off season for the mock drafts. The bottom line is this. No matter where the Jets pick, they will have an opportunity to draft a good football player. And if they fail to do that, it is on Joe Douglas, not this team, for doing their job and winning a game against Bill Belichick to end the season. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Neil, who's up next on our show. Hello, Neil.
Jake, you know me and you know my feelings about Bill Belichick, okay? You know how I want his family and everybody associated with him. But I will say this.
God.
I love to see him with that mask on his face, that piece of crap. He didn't even take his face mask down to go see Salah at midfield. He's a goddamn disgrace. And I'm as happy as hell we got this W today. Breece Hall played magnificently. Bruce Hall, whatever you want to call him. And, you know, I got a couple things I just want to mention.
A couple or 13?
What's that?
I said a couple things or 13?
All right, stop. All right. It's the last show. You know, we got a lot of time here. I got dinner waiting for me upstairs. I have been sick all weekend, and my headache was finally going away until Lane Train got on. Now I need to worry Cedric because he gave me a headache again after I was just feeling a little bit better. But I want to move back into left guard. If we get this guy Fuega and we move back into left guard, now we got about 650 pounds to block for Breece Hall, because I got to tell you something. Becton is a good run blocker. He's definitely too slow on the edge rushers, but I think if we move him to left guard, he's certainly better than Tomlinson, because, you know, if we move him to left guard, I think, you know, he could learn the position. Rodgers loves him. I mean, we could give him a nice one-year deal. He could at least be a swing tackle if somebody gets hurt, if nothing else. And I think we could get him cheap because I think he really likes to be a Jet. And I don't think anybody's going to go out there and pay big money for him at this point. And I'd certainly take him over Tomlinson any day of the week. The other thing I want to mention is, God damn it, we all were talking about Trevor Siemian starting that game instead of this goddamn Tim Boyle. I got to tell you something. Siemian played really, really well. We had a couple drops today, and he dropped a beautiful pass, 2 passes into Garrett's hands that he dropped. And I want to tell you, he played really, really well. He certainly played better than Zappi today. And I think we could have at least won the Falcon game with him at quarterback. Maybe he could have even won 2 of those games if he wasn't playing. And I think that would have been a big plus for us and might have put us in a different position. As far as the draft is concerned, I could give a rat's ass whether we pick 8, 9, 10, 12, 15. It doesn't matter. We are going for free agents. Everybody wants to play for the Jets this year. And I'm going to tell you something. If we lost this game, all right, anybody that wants to have them win 1 year, win a Super Bowl, this gives them a lot more, you know, reason. And it's a better thing for Rodgers and other guys to recruit 1-year players that want to come to a winning team. And, you know, we got the 7 wins. As you know, we could have had 8 or 9, and I think it could have been a lot better scenario, you know, had we had a couple things go our way this year. And I want to say, Copper Johns, your beard, your mustache looks real good. Dre could really use the product, because he looked like shit with his beard. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of callers that really could use some help, but you certainly look a lot better with that due to Copper John. So I want to shout out to Copper Johns for making your beard look really, really good. And Who's the other guy that could use the Copper Johns is the other YouTuber. What's his name? The other redhead.
Matt O'Leary?
Matt O'Leary looks like shit. He has that like stuff going underneath over here. He doesn't have it tight and nice and shaved, right? You notice that?
I think Matt O'Leary is a handsome son of a gun. I appreciate the call, Neil. You always bring it on the post game. Becton at left guard. I think both sides are going to move on. I'm actually probably more open than most of bringing Becton back on a 1-year low cost deal, but I don't think that's going to happen. And it would not be to start. It would be for him to just be like quality depth with maybe some upside, right? I mean, Becton has missed 2 years. He did make it through the entire season, only missing 1 game. I thought he actually had a pretty good game today for what it's worth. They showed a couple of his blocks, but I don't know. I think the ship has probably sailed with Mekhi, but he probably would not be worse than Tomlinson, to your point, and he'd be cheaper than Tomlinson. So I don't think that's the craziest take. As far as Simeon, he is what he is. I mean, he had 70 passing yards today. There were a couple of drops, you're right. This game was won because of Breece Hall being amazing. He had 178 yards. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. That's why they won. I mean, Breece is amazing. Oh, man. How about Neil taking shots at O'Leary? Can't have it. Michael writes in, did I want to hear about a 16-game losing streak? No, you shouldn't. Like, I'm just not gonna worry about draft positioning. I can't do it. All right. There's more than 6 good players in this draft. There's more than 1 or 2 good offensive tackles. And I'm sorry, 2 years ago, the can't miss tackles were Akeem Ekwonu and Evan Neal, and both guys are terrible. Ask a Panthers fan how they feel about Icky. Ask a Giants fan how they feel about Evan Neal. All right, if you see Evan Neal at the Meadowbrook Mall, boo his ass. That's from Don LaGreca, my coworker. So please, these can't miss stuff. You got to pick the right player. It doesn't matter where you're picking. Let's keep rolling with the calls right now. Here we go. We got our guy, Rob, the Jet fan, who's up next. Hello, Rob.
Here we go, Jake. Here we go, Jake.
We're slugging Tito's. I love it. Cheers. F. Belichick. Why not?
If you will allow me one chant for Mr. Belicheater. F-U-C-K-U-U-U. There. I've been waiting for them for a while, Jake. Sorry, Jake. I had to get that out, man. It's years. And I don't care about the draft. We'll find someone good. I don't care what Allen says. We got to get these tackles or it's bust. They're saying there's 7 or 8 good tackles coming out. I'll take my chances. You don't end a year on losing. This is the whole thing that people are saying about us, that we don't finish strong, we don't do things right. But you know what, Jake? You made a great point. The difference between being 7-10 this year and last year is that quarterback-wise, it was actually worse because we had numbnuts like what's his name starting Boyle, and we have Trevor Siemian actually turned out to be the best out of the lot. And you know what happened with Zach Wilson. So you know what? It's amazing that we won 7 stinking games, to be honest with you. But you know what? I'm not for that crap that let's get a high draft pick and stuff. If he has any talent, JD, he'll find somebody. He'll find a good offensive lineman and stuff.
Well, Rob, it is what it is. Like we as fans, we can't control the outcome. Like if they had lost today, would I be devastated? No, but I'm not going to sit here and be upset that my team won and Breece Hall in Belichick's last game stuck it up Belichick's you know what. Like I'm okay with that. Like that to me is part of being a fan.
And they won the way you wanted too. You wanted a comfortable win. They won 17-3. Not bad. I mean, it wasn't a runaway, but you know, Greg the Leg missed one, but I give that guy a pass because he's been spectacular this year. You know, we can't complain. Our special teams we don't have anything to worry about our special teams. If we just hold on to those guys, we're in good shape. And the coach can stay on the special team side. So you know what? Yeah, this is sweet. This is to that Belichiat that I've been waiting for years. I despise that guy. If I met that guy, I'd punch him right in the nose. I'll tell you, I can't stand that guy. So I'm happy. I'm happy, Jake. I'm sorry. I am.
Rob, you don't have to apologize for being happy, man. The team won. This idea that we as Jet fans have to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm happy." Like, you beat the Patriots. Enjoy it. Enjoy the win. Because winning is better than losing. All right? That's my hot take of the day, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. We've already given you a lane train. Now we got a V-Man call. Hello, V-Man.
How we feeling?
V-Man?
And also I got to top the previous caller because you know what? Because obviously he's brought his spirits out, and I got to bring out. I generally don't buy Bacardi, but this is an exception. Man, I'm just ecstatic because you know how I felt about this game. I wanted to win. You know, I felt like this is it's not the same beating some Joe Schmo at head coach than it is beating Bill. It was fun to watch Breece Hall just tear apart that pathetic excuse of a defense he had. I mean, it was just fun. It's just fun watching him, and this is irking him, and it's gonna irk him. Just like it's just gonna irk him forever. Just that he ended his career in the loss to the Jets. And for people, and I had people, and I've had argued with people. I had an argument with Tyson the other day about this, and I don't know if Belichick. I know he can get another job, but I don't know that he will get another job in the NFL. And there are two factors why. Number one is just lack of quality openings. Bill, his age, he's at the end of his coaching career. He's not going to a rebuild team. He wants to go to a somewhat established team that's maybe a few pieces away. And number two, is his ego going to allow him to take what is essentially going to be a demoted role? Less control, not GM, definitely not picking his offensive staff. So is his ego going to allow him to do that? Is the question.
I mean, he'll be able to pick his coaching staff. If Belichick wants a job, he'll have opportunities, V-Man. I don't know where the most obvious fit for him is, especially if Harbaugh takes the Charger job.
I agree. Like I said, so yeah, you agree with my point that he's not going to go to. He's not doing a rebuild at his age.
I mean, he might go to Washington and they could draft the quarterback with a top 3 pick. I think that's possible. If he wants to coach next year, there'll be an opportunity for him to coach. Is my point.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't know. Like I was talking to a coworker of mine. An old coworker of mine. Like I don't know if you really want somebody. You really want his offensive his suggestions at offense running the show on offense with the way the Patriots have just nosedived since 2017 on offense. Oh, look, by the way, before you cut me off, I'm gonna show you this.
A V-Man license plate. Is that what I see?
I think it's more of a V-Man street sign. But okay. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I got that. I'm right now. Yeah, I'm gonna bust out the rum in a second. But man, I'm just ecstatic. And
V-Man, you stay right there. Hold on. I feel like we're overdue for something like this.
Okay, I'm hosting now.
No, you're not. You're not hosting. We can't have you host the show solo. I'd be demonetized very quickly.
No. Oh, by the way,
for you, man. Cheers. Right. F. Bill Belichick. All right. Anything is possible.
Hey, Bill Belichick in Spanish. Vete pa carajo. Yeah, but man, wait. And by the way, off topic? How about the Knicks?
Go New York. Go New York. Go, ladies and gentlemen. A phenomenal final V-Man post-game call. Phenomenal. I mean, that's what it's all about right there, folks. All right, let's get caught up on a couple super chats here, then right back to the calls. Paul D with just $5. Paul, I appreciate you. Ray with $5 here. Thank you, Ray. Rodgers going down, exposed the coaching staff, especially Sal and Hackett. Hopefully Rodgers can make it work next year. Fingers crossed. Here's your blueprint. Healthy Aaron Rodgers. Better backup if he has to miss some games. And you hope that they could put together just a mediocre O-line, and then that should be enough with this defense. And you're basically following a 2015 Jets blueprint. Only the difference is the ending is better because it's Aaron Rodgers, not Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what you're hoping for, right? That team won 10 games. They blew it at the last game of the year, but 10 wins next year would get the Jets into the playoffs. 11 or 12, and you're competing for the AFC East, as we've seen. Which now, by the way, with the Jaguars doing what they did today, this game tonight really doesn't mean much. The Bills are in the playoffs now, no matter what. I was rooting for the chaos scenario where the Bills needed to win to get in or they're out. And now they're in. So now if the Dolphins win, they rematch the Bills next week. If they lose, I think they go to Arrowhead. So I don't even know who I'm rooting for tonight. Ray with another super check. And somebody tell Lane to wipe his camera. Lane was following the model of the of the game yesterday between the Steelers and Ravens when you couldn't even see what was happening because the camera was all fogged up on ESPN. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Ricky NY, who's up next on our program. Ricky, what do you got for us?
Hey, what's happening, Jake? Man, I'm in a good mood. I'm so glad we won. So glad we sent him out with an L. And I don't care about the draft. Like JJ Watt and Derwin James, those guys weren't top picks. There's good players, a lot of good players beyond the top 5. And two guys that were drafted right in the range where we're going to be picking are Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on. Like we're not in a bad spot. We needed to go out with a win. It was great to see the team did not quit on him and finished the year strong. I got on my Breece Hall shirt, my Breece Hall hat. I was so happy he went off. And by the way, thank you, because Breece was a spicy pick on Underdog that hit for me today. That was nice. And you know what? And my boy Bryce Huff hit double digits. Oh my God. That was like one of the biggest things I wanted to happen this year. Like my favorite player on the whole defense. And I was so happy to see him do that. And we got to pay that man. That's all there is to it. We have got to pay him and we have got to keep him here. That's all there is to it. But yeah, man, I'm fired up. I'm so glad we won. And everybody have a great day. Go Jets.
Ricky, good call, man. And I'm with you. Like Bryce Huff needs to be back. He needs to be back. The idea that you can't pay him and still improve the offense is not true. For those who understand how the salary cap works, you can extend a guy. Let's say they give Bryce Huff $28 million. Like his cap hit would be between $7 or $8 million because you could prorate his signing bonus and spread it out. Like the nerds in the Jet front office could put together a contract where Huff's on this team and they still have resources necessary to acquire Devontae Adams or sign one of these other receivers in free agency. You would think Douglas would do whatever it takes to keep Huff. It's probably his pound for pound, one of his 3 or 4 best moves as Jets GM. Right? Bryce Huff was an undrafted free agent as part of the 2020 class. He's the only guy from that class that's going to get a monster second contract. I think the Jets should bring back Ashton Davis, but we're not talking about, throwing a bag at Ashton Davis. You bring him back on a reasonable deal. Becton, I don't think, is going to be on this team next year. If he is, it's going to be a 1-year prove-it deal. And the other guys from that class aren't even on the team already. So, like, Huff is like the best player from 2020. More of your calls right now, folks. Buckle up. You never know what's going to happen when this guy calls in. He goes by many names. We know him on this show as Charles A. Gorman. Hello, Charles. Goodbye, Charles. Pittsburgh Mike's up next. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Jake, at least I'm sitting here. I don't know what Charles is doing.
I appreciate your understanding of how this typically works when you call into a show.
I sit here, I'm waiting. Listen, man, I'm super stoked that that Jets won. I mean, listen, the images of Belichick walking off the field with the thing over his face, like that's gonna last. I wanted this team to win going into the offseason. That's a huge thing. I was psyched. I won my Breece Hall anytime TD score bet right at the end there. I also had a Patriots to lose a fumble, which I wish Saleh would have challenged that because I think that was a fumble on that kickoff. But listen, man, Brees is a beast. He is such a smooth route runner. I hope they get him involved in the passing game a little bit more. When he hits an opening, it's just incredible to see how fast he is. I really believe he has a chance to be one of the top running backs in the NFL next year. Listen, man, another thing too, 17 games he played. He made Dalvin Cook completely irrelevant. Michael Carter cut him loose. Towards the end of the season, we only had 2 running backs on our team. It was the Brees show. It's just such an incredible thing to see. And one suggestion I was even thinking about, I don't know if you figured out your off-season content. You should do a couple streams where we highlight a player, talk about their top plays and what we'd like to see from them next year. Obviously, big one for Brees would be get him involved in the passing game. That's going to be huge. But overall, listen, I'm happy to move into the offseason because I'm ready for 2024. We matched our win total, and I see good things on the horizon. So
yeah, Mike, excellent call. Look, it should not be lost the type of year that Brees has had. Like, to do what he did coming off a major knee injury. Typically, they say you don't see running backs look as good as he's looked until the second year removed from the injury. I mean, Brees on opening night in the game that I was at had an 80-yard run that night. I mean, before Aaron Rodgers went down, the best moment, one of them in my life, was the first handoff of the game that night where Brees went 25 yards, and I'm like, we're winning the Super Bowl this year. That's what it felt like at that moment. Like, Brees was good from day one. He was good from day one, and he got better as the year went on. And, once his offensive coordinator learned in week 8 that, he's actually pretty good out of the backfield, we should design some plays for him in that regard, then his numbers continued to even get better. He had 1,500 scrimmage yards coming off an ACL. Lane asking the question we all need the answer to. What happened to Charles? See, here's the thing with the Lane train. Nothing gets by him. See if we have Charles on the line again. Charles, you there? Charles. Hey, Charles. Yeah. Sounds like there's something going on in the background. Charles. Nope. Just some football on. This is mysterious. Charles, we're concerned about you. I am deeply, deeply concerned. Uno Jet says, New England L streak's over. Playoffs is next. Hey, you have to check off these streaks along the way, remember? Last year was win a game in September, win a division game. This year was end the Patriots streak. Next year's end the playoff streak. Right? That's the positivity that we'll try and find today. Joey R has got a super chat for us. O-line played better than Pat's garbage O-line and put Belichiat out of his misery. Huff needs to be signed. Joe Douglas needs to overpay for O-line, wide receiver, and free agency. What do you think? Agreed. I don't think it's necessarily even overpaying. It's just that's where you use your resources. Your defense is under contract for next year. So the key is going to be to invest basically everything into that offensive side of the ball. Sure, they could bring back Ashton Davis, and they should re-sign Huff and extend him so his cap hit is minimized for next year. But everything they do should be all about surrounding this offense with as many pieces as possible for a healthy Aaron Rodgers next year. That's it. I mean, it's really not that complicated what the Jets need to do. They have their quarterback in place. They have the defense in place. They need a number 2 receiver. They need 3 offensive linemen, certainly at least 2 starters, one they can get in the first round, one they should get in free agency. I think AVT should be the right tackle because I think it's easier to find a guard in free agency than it is to find 2 tackles or rely necessarily on a rookie and a free agent tackle. But, I mean, we know what they need to do. The question is, are they going to do it? Right? Joe Douglas had about as bad of an offseason as you can have, minus the Rodgers trade. Can he rebound? I'm sure we'll hear from Joe this week. That's what I want to see. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Nick T, who's up next on the Gusbuster hotline. Hello, Nick.
What's going on, Jake?
How are you?
Gotta love a win. Any win over Belichick's a good win. You know, this guy has tortured us for how long, including leaving our franchise high and dry. So, I mean, we got to take it when we can get it, right? And this was the staple. You know, the way they won today was a staple this whole season, right? Defense, running the ball, our field goal, special teams games on point as usual. I mean, you just hope that we got a few more wins out, you know, during the season. You know, it's funny. I tweeted at you last night I was also watching the Colts game. Minshew, that first drive is how Hackett should have managed every game and play called every game. He's going to Pittman every throw that first drive. It's either Pittman or Taylor. Granted, they still lost the game, but they were in that whole game. That's what our game plan should have been the minute Rodgers went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look how long it took for them to design plays to get the ball to Breece Hall, who's been, you know, him and Garrett are clearly their best two offensive weapons. And there are way too many games this year where the play calling was terrible. But you hope Rodgers mitigates that because he's really the play caller next year.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is, you know, you just mentioned it with Ashton Davis being re-signed. He's one of the unique cases where Douglas stuck with his draft pick. You know, we talk about this all the time with Zach Wilson. You stuck with him for way too long. He stuck with him and he actually panned out. So you got to give him credit on at least that one. And then last point, you know, before I got to go here, the draft position. Darrelle Revis was, I think, 14th pick, 16th pick, something like that.
They traded up for him.
Yeah, in the mid rounds. Jonathan Vilma was the 12th overall pick. Mangold was 26th, I believe. You can find talent anywhere in the first round. As long as, like you said, you pick the right guy, we'll be in it.
I'm with you, Nick. I mean, look, it's about the player, not about the position you're in picking. About picking the right player. I mean, that's the bottom line. Always with a finger on the pulse. Lane Kerner asking the right questions today, folks. Do the Jets keep Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson? Robert Saleh, not aware of who he is, but Robert Saleh, I believe, will be back as the head coach, and Zach Wilson will be traded. Good question by our guy, Lane. More of your calls right now. Dan, the Jet fan's up next. Hello, Dan.
How's it going, Jake? First of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to extend my gratitude towards you for the content and coverage throughout the season yet again. I mean, as Jet fans, you know, it's the least that we have.
Dan, I appreciate it, man. Well, I mean, I've said this for years. The team might stink, but the collection of people on YouTube who cover the Jets, I mean, it's as good as any fan base in the NFL.
I wholeheartedly agree. Second of all, I'm a little upset that I remember calling into the show before the season began during training camp. I remember saying, like, ever since 2018, every team that's done Hard Knocks has won at least 7 games. And here we are, 7 games. Well, all those teams have made the playoffs within a 2 to 3 year span. So hopefully next year, that's the time we make the playoffs, because I'm tired of missing the playoffs every year.
I know.
Also, I guess I kind of hope Chicago wins this game, because then we would go to Chicago next year. Sunday Night Football, that'd be a nice one.
Yeah, I mean, so the scenario with that is if the Bears lose to the Packers, the Jets go to Chicago. Do I have that right?
No, if Chicago wins this game, we go to Chicago next year. If the Bears lose this game, we go to Minnesota. We can't go to Green Bay.
I was hoping for the Green Bay scenario. Yeah. Chicago would be great because, you know, Rodgers owns the Bears, so I work for that scenario.
That'd be funny. Rodgers back to see the team that he owns.
Yep, I'll take that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Field goal, good. I'm watching this live right now by the Raiders with 7 minutes to go before the half. Raiders, if they win, that's good for the Jets. So for those who care about the draft stuff, we're for the Raiders. That will help. All right. If my eyes are correctly working here, I believe we have the return of Charles A. Gorman. Charles.
Hello, Jake. I just had dinner. I had a couple of servings of chicken soup, my mother's homemade chicken soup. It was delicious.
I'm glad to hear it.
How you doing, Jake?
Charles, I'm good. It's never bad to beat Bill Belichick.
I know. I don't know why people are bitching about it. Oh, we gave them a quarterback. How do you know they're drafting a fucking quarterback? Excuse my language. Anyways,
Charles, it's a family show. Come on.
Well, are you on the radio?
No, but I'm on YouTube.
I know, but Anyway, as you can see in the title underneath my name, Brees Lightning, baby. Go Brees Lightning, go Brees Lightning. Dun, 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 dun. Brees Lightning was amazing today. The offensive line, I thought, played their best game of the year. I thought they only gave up 1 sack. Obviously, our passing game didn't really do much, but it did really have to because we were relying so much on our running game, more specifically, Brees Hall. Brees Hall finished this season 6 yards shy of 1,000. After today's game.
You okay,
the defense
Charles?
had great. Bryce Huff had 10 still finished the year with 10.5 sacks. That's our second consecutive year finishing with a defensive guy with 10 plus sacks. Jermaine Johnson's incredible. I mean, we got so many talented players. I hope to God the Jets get their head out of their you-know-whats and actually draft some quality players and bring in some quality coaches. If there's one coach to me that should be gone, it's Keith Carter. He was terrible this year.
I'd agree. Now, Charles, let me ask you, what was the best part about this chicken soup?
Everything. There's no secret ingredient. It's just you, like, ever heard of Kung Fu Panda?
Interesting. So would you say that because you had the soup and the Jets won today, that week 1 next year, you also will have chicken soup?
I don't know about that. My mother's desire to cook different things, changes over time. Sometimes, she cooks one thing, she cooks another thing, but, I'm happy she made chicken soup today. That's one of my favorite things she has cooked for me since I was a kid. I love to eat, so what can I say?
Charles, excellent job out of you. What a call. The Graveyard Jet is up next on our program. Graveyard Jet, what do you got for us?
Jets, Jets, the mother-loving Jets. The streak is over. And to that, I drink.
Cheers. F the Patriots.
F the Patriots, man. I'm just happy we were able to end the season on a good note. And now, on to next year. I think this past season really it really tested my loyalty to the Jets, because I'll tell you what, though, from week 1, it was just – but, still here, still repping the gang green, and let's just hope that nobody's a bonehead going into next year, but it's the Jets.
Well, I mean, it's a huge offseason. I mean, we've said it before, but, I mean, they have a finite window to get it right now with this quarterback coming back at his age. Right? Like, backup quarterback, they'll have a better one than Zach Wilson. But everything else, are we sure that Douglas can fix the O-line? Can he get the right receiver? These are questions. Right? Like, Rodgers can mitigate the crappiness of Nathaniel Hackett. But I don't want Keith Carter coaching this O-line next year. I want staff changes, man. I hope we get that announcement tomorrow. So someone should have to pay for an offense being as bad as the Jets' offense was this year, despite the fact they had a 1,000-yard wide receiver and a 1,500-yard running back, if you count Brees' receiving and rushing yards. I mean, he nearly had 1,000 rushing yards to go with 500 receiving yards. Charles, if you're still watching, we're going to need your mom's chicken soup recipe as well. That's going to be something that we need to share with the audience. Let's keep rolling with the calls. Our guy, the King, is on the hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, King Lowski. King, what do we got?
Jake, my brother, to fucking hell with them Patriots and Bill Belichiat. You hear me? All of you sucker duck people out there who wanted us to lose, to hell with you too. You hear me? Jets, Jets, baby. We needed this win. I don't care nothing about no draft picks. I don't care nothing about nothing but ending that damn streak and getting up out there with a win. I'll tell you one thing, Jake. We should have called another timeout and ran the ball down that damn throat again. That's what we should have did. Waste the timeout. We had 2 timeouts left. Call another timeout. Run the ball again. I don't care nothing about it. Hey, Charles, I need some of that chicken soup. Yeah, I know it's delicious. I need some of it. Send it this way, Charles. JETS, yes, baby. Let's go.
I was not expecting King Lowski to scream for Charles's chicken soup. What a call. I love this show, man. We got the best callers. We really do. We really do. Unbelievable. Shout out to our guy, Craig Down Under, who just became our newest YouTube channel member. Why don't we celebrate Craig becoming our newest channel member by having Craig on the show as our next caller? Craig, what do you got for us?
Cheers, man. How are you? I'm on the water. It's like 9 a.m. here and I've just started work.
Cheers.
This is the best I can do. I've been scuba diving all weekend down south, down at like 100 feet of water with the shipwrecks. So it's all salt water. So
oh my God.
I've got to get back to normal.
Shipwrecks. What are you trying to like discover where Titanic is? The last people that tried to do that, it didn't go too well.
Yeah. No, I've just finished my advanced course, so I can go down to 100 feet now. And they sunk a ship 20 years ago in the Gulf here, cut holes all over it, and now it's turned into a reef. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's a good spot. So carrying around 60 pounds of gear for 2 days straight, getting up at 4:30 a.m. I had to have a win today. I'm telling you, the idea of going into next season at 16 losses to the Pats, I can't live with that. I would have traded like early picks. I'd have given them away to know we were going to win this game. So I spent all morning on the Discord as well. A couple of my friends on the Discord very much, wanted to see a loss and for the pick, and I get it, but I don't agree with it. I love you guys. You know who you are. I respect you, and I enjoyed the backwards and forwards. But I call this concept draft truthers. I think because at this point, because I just don't believe it makes any real material difference. You certainly don't know that it's going to make a difference. It's just a maybe, and there's endless examples of busts and people picked last and then they're a starting QB and whatever. So I'm just glad we got this win, man, and it was a good win. It's good to see Bella Schmuck in his ski mask friggin' gone. That guy is such a tosser. I can't stand him, and all his success with Tom Brady. Give me a break. It's too much to deal with. But we don't have to now. We've gone off with a positive. And on the topic of the chicken soup, I'm thinking when I come to the US, to New York City in May with my wife, and we have our big catch up, I think we need to have a live show with a panel. And I think the chicken soup, it's got to be there. And I want to see King Lowski eat this chicken soup live on the Jake Asman show, man. That's what's going to happen. I've decided. I've got so many ideas. It's completely out of hand at this point. And next time I can call in when I'm actually at home, I have a special guest that you will not expect, but shall remain anonymous at this point.
Craig, that is a great tease, my man. Great call. We appreciate your support, man, all season long. Love the back and forth with you and everyone in the Discord today. Look, ultimately, we won't know if this win hurt them or helped them. We don't know. That's why I'm just not going to get worked up over it. Like a year ago at this time, every Texan fan was furious they won a game because it cost them Bryce Young. They didn't even want to take CJ Stroud. They wanted Young. They tried to trade up for him. Imagine how different the NFL is if that happened. And instead, the Texans take CJ Stroud. He has the best rookie quarterback season ever, and they've won the AFC South. So you never know, man. That's the bottom line. This general manager has had high picks he's messed up on. He's had lower picks he's hit on. You got to just hope that he picks the right player no matter where they end up. And look, right now, there's still a chance the Jets are picking in the top 10. as I sit here and continue this post-game show, but the lowest they could fall is what, 12? I mean, there's still a good player they can get at 12 at a position of need. My guess is on what live guest Craig has, by the way, is a live kangaroo. All right. So I want to be on the record. And as far as the chicken soup from Charles, I think the next listener meetup we do next year, we need Charles flown in with his mother to serve chicken soup to all the Asmaniacs making the trip. And when Craig visits New York City in May. Our guy Rob brings up a great point. It's not just the Patriots streak the Jets ended this year. They also ended the losing streak against the Eagles. Yeah, that's a good point too. So, as bad as this year was, and it was bad, there were some things that you could point to and be like, all right, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's keep rolling with the calls. Wavy Jets guy is up next. Wavy, what do you got for us?
Yo, what's going down, Jake? Long time no speak to, man.
What's up?
I'm all right, man. I'm doing all right. Feeling a lot better now that we beat them damn Patriots. Tell you that much, man. I don't give a damn about the draft position right now because, we picked in the top 5 and whiffed, and we picked in the top 20 and had hits. So it's like it's a roll of the dice regardless. But to beat Belichick, the last thing I wanted was for him to walk out of New England with us being his last victory. That would have just been crushing.
I get it, man. Like, that's why I don't understand people that are so upset you beat Belichick, and the lasting image of him as a Patriots head coach is him wearing a ski mask, trying to hide his shame, losing to the team that he's owned for 20 years. Like, that's an awesome moment as a Jet fan.
Yeah. And I also want to give a big shout out to the Columbus, Ohio Jets fan club. I'm from New York originally, but I live in Columbus, Ohio now. I met up with Mac through you, actually. You had shouted him out after I met up with you when we was in Akron. And been going there and meeting up with them ever since, man. We got some pretty dope pictures. I'll send them a couple to you, man. We about like 20, 30 deep now at the bar. We got our own place where they actually put the Jets on the big screen, on the speakers. So if you in the surrounding areas in Columbus, Ohio, or anywhere near there, come out, watch the game with us. It's like therapy because at the end of the day, instead of getting stuffed on a TV in a corner somewhere, if you out here, rock with us. But one other point I wanted to say was whatchamacallit, you gotta end that streak, man. That's the main thing, man. That 8 years, what Fitzpatrick was the last one when he threw that pass to Decker.
Yep.
Man, way too long.
I agree.
Hey, man, love your show, Jake, man. You hold it down for us, man. It's like group therapy out here. Appreciate you.
Wavy, man, I appreciate you. It was great to meet you at Hall of Fame weekend, and I'm glad that you found the Columbus Jet fan crew to watch games with all year. That's awesome. That's what's so cool about doing the show. You connect with so many Jet fans, and then you connect other Jet fans with other Jet fans, which is awesome. So shout out to Wavy Jets guy, who's a great fan. Met him Hall of Fame weekend when the vibes were as high that weekend as they ended up being the entire season, which. Thank God I said to my buddy Dan, who I made the trip with, I'm like, let's just enjoy this because who knows what's coming? Because this might be the best it is. Almost like I wasn't predicting Aaron Rodgers to get hurt in the 4th play of the year, but it still is the Jets I was rooting for. So I was like, as great as I feel now, I want to make sure I enjoy this because that weekend was epic. Klecko, Revis going in, Jets in the Hall of Fame game. Like, that was so much fun. Coach James with a super chat. He cuts our line. Time to create a winning team. I'm fired up, Jake. Thanks for great content this season. Originally from New York, now in Panama City, Panama. Let's go Jets. The Asman Show. Appreciate you, Coach James. You're the man. Look. This win today doesn't erase how painful and disgusting this season has been. But I'm not going to sit here and be upset that my team beat Bill Belichick in his last ever game. Would I have been that upset if they lost? No. But there's something to be said for ending the streak. There definitely is. And Belichick's last memory, him walking off the field. Losing to the Jets. Please. Dre with a super chat. Chipotle on me, Jake. Shout out to Craig. We love you. JTS Jets. Blank. Let a naysayer know. That was a funny moment on game day last week with McAfee. Keep rolling with your calls right now. Appreciate everyone who has tuned in today. Super chats will continue to cut the line. Do me a favor, though, before I get back into your calls. Hit the like button if you're watching. And Jet fans, I need you to spread the word. We will continue to talk Jets each and every day on this channel throughout the entire Jets offseason.
Warning, warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Allen alert. Hide the children.
Allen's up next. Allen, you didn't even watch the game today. What's wrong with you?
I did not. I was at the Panthers-Bucks game watching Todd Bowles make the playoffs. That place was an absolute morgue. It was awful to watch the game. But when you get free 50-yard line tickets, when the place is 2/3 empty, you just go, why not? You say that I never call during a Jet win, so I thought I'd call today. But then I watched the Tennessee one, and I believe the Giants are winning. So the idea of winning a game like this and costing yourself Joe Alt just kills me. It does. I know a lot of people are happy. They want to break the streak. I get it. But I wish the streak would have been broken earlier this year when they had the Patriots in their own building at 1-1 rather than now playing a team that had absolutely no chance. So I don't know what to feel. I'm not happy that they won because it cost them one of the top 2 tackles. I hope Fuaga is there at 9, but it's not a satisfying win. Again, this team continues year after year with these meaningless wins. And I know you broke the streak. I get it. But
Well, not last year. Last year, they couldn't buy a win. They lost their last 6.
I understand that, but I mean, in the past, they've won games when they needed
So let's go to
lose.
2021, right? They beat the Jaguars. Well, the Jaguars ended up taking Trevon Walker. The Jets took Sauce Gardner. How'd that work out? Like, you never know,
talking
man.
about the year that they took that they could have gotten Nick Bosa instead of Quinnen Williams, who I like, but he's not Nick Bosa.
Quinnen's a first-team All-Pro
He's
player.
not
Like,
Nick Bosa.
Okay, but you know what? Like,
He's not Nick Bosa.
Okay, so he's not Nick Bosa, Allen. Like, the Jets wouldn't be that much further along, if any better than where they are right now if they had Nick Bosa instead of Quinnen. Wouldn't make a difference.
I just feel empty on a win like this. Hopefully, Fuaga is a guy that they could plug in at right tackle. I keep reading that people are like, oh, they should bring Mekhi Becton back. Please, no, okay? This should be his final game. And another thing, it's sad when we pay a guy $44 million in the offseason and he gets benched for Randall Cobb. That's definitely a sign that something's wrong within the organization. And they can't cut him. He's owed $12 million fully guaranteed next year, and he sits week 18. That's disgusting. That's awful to watch. So to say that I'm happy they won, no. Glad they beat Belichick, but to me, it's a hollow win that made them 7-10. I just don't get anything out of it. But I'm glad people are happy. To me, it's a win that doesn't really feel like a win.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you should celebrate this and it's the greatest win ever. Like, you don't have to be fulfilled, but I think you act like Joe Alt is a lock to be great. I have no idea. All right, the same people saying Joe Alder can't miss are probably the same people that said the same about Ike Ekwonu and Evan Neal 2 years ago. Go Google their names and go read the scouting reports on them and what they were being hyped up to be. I'm not like making this up. Icky and Evan Neal were can't miss 2 years ago. They both stink. So you never know. So I'm just not going to be that upset. There's more than one good O lineman in this draft. They could end up with Fuega. They could end up with Fashanu, J.C. Latham. I forget the guy's name that just declared from Georgia as a first-round guy. There's more than one good offensive tackle. And you would have killed Robert Saleh and the Jets if they lost today, Allen. So that's the problem. Like, now they win, and it's like, well, doesn't really matter. It is what it is. They won the game, and it's on Joe Douglas now to get a good player no matter where they end up picking. Joey R says, Allen, Joe Alt is not the only great offensive tackle in the draft. They also could trade up two people. The idea the Jets are just stuck wherever they are. If they really love one of these tackles so badly, what's stopping them from moving up? Jam with a super chat. With Hub's postgame comments about money and role change requests, plus Joe Douglas's negotiation history, do you think the Jets will realistically sign him? Go Jets. I still lean with Huff coming back. I know people are going to be like, oh, but he said he wants to play in a scheme that lets him play all the time. He's saying the right things as far as leverage goes. Ultimately, do I think Joe Douglas will come to his senses and pay the guy? I do. But if he doesn't, You better have a plan because you don't just let the guy walk. You tag him so then you could trade him. You don't just let Bryce Huff leave for nothing. That would be poor GMing. But I think Huff is on the team if I had to guess. I do. My opinion is subject to change, as always, based on new information, but I'm not going to freak out yet. Michael writes in, how was the line last year and this year with AVT? Enough with the hate. Since he made the Super Bowl the year they set the record for sacks allowed. Well, the line got, I don't really understand the super chat, Michael, because the line got significantly worse once Vera Tucker got hurt. So I don't know about that one. JE says, Jake, you act like we're a winning franchise. Stop it. Pick the best prospects. JE, what type of stupid comment is this? You act like we're a winning franchise. No, I'm going to tell you how it is. They went 7-10 this year, despite having the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Do I have major questions about the coach and GM? Yeah. But am I going to sit here and act like it's doom and gloom that they won today? No. You pick the best prospects. Yeah. Pick the best prospects. Pick the best available offensive linemen, no matter where they are, which is what I've been saying for months already on this show. Unfortunately, though, and look, I hate to just say this about you, JE, because there might be something actually wrong with you mentally. So if there is, I understand why you make these comments. But if there's not, you leave me no choice but to do this because you might be an imbecile.
Into the shadow realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers being voted the most inspirational Jet by his teammates is legit one of the saddest things I've ever heard.
F your comment and F Dan Graziano. More of your calls right now. Mr. Bonesy is up next. Hello, Bones.
Jake, my brother. Just outside having a snowball fight with my kids.
Love that.
We really no one can be happy in this fan base. Imagine we lost this game, what Allen would have been saying about us, about Salah. Here, say, all right, come
on. Happy New Year.
My kids, every time I get on, they've been leaving me alone for like 15 minutes as soon as I get on. It's like, Dad. So I went into this game numb. I'm on the. Can you just give me a second, buddy, please? So let's go inside. So I went into this game just numb, wanted not to get embarrassed, and we won the game. It was fun watching our young talent that we've developed, Ashton Davis get an interception, Tony Adams get an interception, watching all the young bloods do snow angels in Gillette Stadium. I mean, we got to be a little happy just to hand Belichick a loss. It's probably his last, it's probably his last game. And I just feel like what else can we want? We can't worry about the draft. We've shown that we can still find talent in the draft and not pick in the first, Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to call in tomorrow because I got a bunch of facts I gotta hit back at Kevin, so I'll probably call when I'm at work and I could actually think. But let's go, Jets. I'm going to take this win, and, it is what it is, baby. At least it's a dub, and we can go into the offseason off a win and a little bit of positive vibes,
Bonesy, I appreciate it, man. Look, they won 7 games. If they get better quarterback play in the Patriot game in week 3, if they win one of the Charger or Raider game with Rodgers at quarterback, I believe they would. If they win the Chiefs game with Rodgers at quarterback, I could find 3 or 4 more wins, and this team is in the playoffs this year. So you have to hope they could make the improvements on the O-line and Aaron could stay healthy and they can take that step forward. But winning is not a bad thing. By the way, how about this Eagles-Giants game? 24-0 Giants in a game the Eagles need to win Or have the Eagles just completely checked out on it? Because the Cowboys aren't going to lose to the commies. Crazy. Super chat here that I want to get to from the Art of Pimpin'. Sorry for missing this earlier. I was so numb to this game. I really didn't care if we won, but I'd rather use the pick to get Rome Odunze and use the free agency to fill that O-line void. I don't think you could fill the free agency O-line void. Like, good offensive linemen very rarely hit free agency. Could you hit on a couple depth signings? Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you get lucky. You find a guy like George Fant or Morgan Moses, as Douglas has done. But you got to hope that the Jets could fill, I think, the receiver void in free agency and then use one of their first-round picks on an offensive tackle, and then maybe their third-round pick is on a receiver. Like, that's how you got to do it. Uno says, B-Man got me drinking. Monkey see, monkey do. Love it. Real Estate says, thanks for the show. Real Estate, thanks for the super chat. Thank you guys so much, man. The viewership and the super chats is what allows me to do this show full time, in addition to my ESPN radio responsibilities nationally and for 98.7 in New York. So just can't say it enough. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to support, now that we're in the off season, I got some great off season content brewing. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show is the place to be. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to do a Super Bowl Squares contest for Patreon members. You get access to our Discord. You'll get your name added to the countdown ticker when we update that every month, plus a bunch of other perks that come up throughout the year. So check it out if you want more Jake Asman Show content away from YouTube, and another way to support me. Skywise writes in, glad they won today. Keep it up, Jake. Love your channel. Go Jets. Hey, I love the positivity. Michael writes in, healthy AVT and the line's better than Cincinnati's Super Bowl sack-allowed line. Enough with the hate and Joe Alt. Trade down. First anyway, need a second. Super Bowl next year. So Michael's the most positive Jet fan. I completely disagree with you, though. Healthy AVT and this line is not better than the Bengals Super Bowl line. It's bad. Like the line's not a complete crap show, but you've had too many other injuries, even besides AVT. The Jets used 13 different starting offensive line combinations in 17 games. It wasn't just AVT, Michael. The left guard stinks. The left tackle stunk. The right guard was an issue all year. Right tackle was an issue. It wasn't just AVT getting hurt. More of your calls right now. DJ from Orlando is up next on the show. Hello, DJ.
What's going on, Jake? How
What's
are you
up,
doing?
man?
I'm good. I mean, I'm glad we got the monkey off of our back finally. It's been, 8 years, 15 freaking games, and people are still complaining about the Jets beating the Patriots. I just don't get them. Are they even Jets fans at all? I really just don't get it, man. I really don't.
I mean,
So
I understand, like, the sentiment. I do. I just think when you weigh the pros and cons, like, one, how we root has no impact, and two, like, the way they won today, like Breece Hall spanking the Patriots in Bill's last game, like if you don't smile and enjoy that as a Jet fan, like I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
You know?
I think you're not a Jet fan at all if you're finding a way to be upset about this. You know what I mean? Even if we win, we went from from 8 to 10. We don't drop that far back in the draft. So the fact that we think we're gonna lose one lineman out of 4 or 5 good linemen that are available in this draft is hilarious, man. Like if Joe Douglas is a good GM at all, he should be fine in this offseason, which he does best, honestly. So I really don't understand. It's a good day. Let's be happy about this. We beat the Patriots for the first time since 2015. Good Lord.
Yeah,
I
look,
don't get it.
I'm with you, DJ. Enjoy it. Like, I understand why some fans aren't like in love with this win, being like, yeah, this is great. Because, like, the team missed the playoffs. They finished 7-10, but I don't know. I enjoyed the hell of watching Breece Hall streak down the sideline for a touchdown for 50 yards out. That's me. Jemiah says, why mediocre O-line? You should strive for a good O-line. Because I'm trying to be realistic. This GM has been here since June of 2019. The O-line is still in shambles. I think with a healthy Rodgers and Breece and Garrett, if they could get a receiver 2 next to Garrett and go from the worst O-line in the NFL to a mediocre O-line, that's enough to win 10 or 11 games next year and go to the playoffs. That's the point I'm making. When I like a good O-line, I'd like a great O-line. I just don't have faith in Douglas doing that. I'm hoping he can put together a mediocre O-line because that I believe is enough. That's my point. Being realistic. Of course, I want to strive for a good O-line. I don't have faith in the GM to do that. Give me a mediocre O-line. That feels more realistic. Johnny's up next on our show. What's up, Johnny?
What up, Jake? Hey, man. Feels good to finally have that W against them. Whole thing about everybody pissed off with the draft. Look, man, I don't care who we get in the draft. Next year, the streak that we need to beat is having a winning season and going into the playoffs next year and be able to talk about we're in the playoffs, we're happy, we're good. Finally, that streak is over. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was my boy Charles. He needs to make a review about that chicken soup so we all could talk about it, because I think that's something that's going to have the ratings go off the chain, man. So it's a good time, man. Everybody just enjoy it, man. Drink something, do something, talk to your girl. I don't know. Make something that's going to make you happy. Everybody's negative, bro, for no reason. And us as fans, I get it. Dude, we haven't had nothing. This year sucked for us, bro. And we finally beat Belichick that went ahead and he's going to be gone. And we don't have to deal with this dude anymore. So
He's gone. The streak's over. Like we have no idea. Like, oh, but this is going to help the Patriots get their quarterback. They were going quarterback whether they won today or lost today. It didn't matter. So we'll find out if that quarterback is going to be good. It's going to take several years. Mac Jones was great as a rookie. Now he's benched for Bailey Zappi. So you never know, man. Just you play the game. We have no impact on how the game's going to go. Ultimately, the Jets didn't hurt themselves that badly because they weren't going to go quarterback in the first round. So you move forward. You won 7 games. How can they go from 7 wins and not making the playoffs to 10 plus and making the playoffs next year? That's the focus now.
Exactly. And how many offensive linemen did we lose this year? How much of the carousel, the offensive line we had, and we still won 7 games out of it? I mean, am I happy about that? Hell no. I mean, of course, I want to be in the playoffs right now, and I'm looking at these other teams that are going to make it, and it sucks. But it is what it is. I'm still a Jet fan no matter what, right? It builds character, bro, and that's what this fan base is built upon. So everybody be happy. It is what it is. 2024, we're undefeated right now. Undefeated. Jets, Jets. Let's go,
That's
guys.
Right. That's right. Boomtown up next. Hello, Boomtown.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man?
A story, a comment, and a request. First, the story. In 2015, I unfortunately turned into a cocky Jets fan. Best friend is a Patriots fan, and I started betting him a 12-pack every single time the Jets played the Patriots.
Oh, my God.
So I did the math, and I've basically given him the equivalent of over a keg of beer over the 8 years, and it really sucks. It ends today. Thank God I at least saw it off. We don't owe each other anything. It's over. A quick comment, and I'm not trying to be negative here. I don't want you to minimize the value of a few draft slots. Go back just to last year. There were a lot of fans that regretted even doing that pick swap with Green Bay. It moved us back. We didn't get to have an offensive tackle, and that one extra draft slot that the Patriots had allowed Pittsburgh to come up and maybe take that last offensive tackle that would have worked for us in that position. And one more further one, just ask Houston what one spot means, whether them having Breece Hall or us having Breece Hall.
Okay. But to your point, Boomtown, we could find examples of it going both ways. That's why I'm not going to get that caught up in. Let's use Houston, right? Houston beat Indy last year. It cost them the #1 pick in the draft. They were going to take Bryce Young. They lucked into CJ Stroud, and how's that going for them? So, we could play. There's both sides of it. It's why I'm not going to get worked up over it. That's my point.
Absolutely. I don't really want that point sort of minimized. I know it goes both ways. Last thing, my request, Charles, get your ass in the Patreon, get your ass in the Discord. Let's put that chicken soup recipe behind the paywall. Support Jake. Let's build it up.
Boomtown, you're the best, man. Great call. I'm with you, man. We need Charles A. Gorman in the Discord. We do. Let's go to Chef Kevin, who's up next. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Jake. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man?
Good. Hey, real quick, if you don't mind, man, just coming from a season ticket holder, someone who pays money to see the Jets play, I can't stay at a game and boo. I can't root for a team to lose. This loser mentality that we has to go. Because to be honest, man, I'm I'm frustrated with the how the organization has handled some stuff. But besides that, us as fans who've been fans forever, we can't pay and go to the games to lose. It's a loser mentality. It's toxic. To worry about draft picks, man, it's a culture. We have to worry about building the culture, and it starts with winning. Once we start winning, we feel good. Me being a Yankee fan, that's the only thing that's helping me in life right now. And they haven't been all that great as of late. But I grew up in the 90s and saw the Derek Jeter stuff, and it's helped. It's a winning culture. With the Jets, I haven't experienced that. I'm oozing. I just urge for it, and we gotta please stop, man. The tank commander, I understand what he's talking about, but we can't keep worrying about losing, man. I'm sorry, man. He might be a good guy and all that, but I can't support the loser mentality. That's all, brother. You've been doing great. I appreciate you letting me talk on your platform. Best of luck to you, man.
Kevin, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully I'll get to meet you at a game next season. I'm with you, man. It's about winning ultimately. But I'm not going to pretend like I'd be that upset if they lost today. Like, I'd be annoyed a little bit, but I'd be like, you know what, it is what it is. But they won, and they won because Breece Hall stomped all over the Patriots. Like, that's not a bad thing. So, I'm with you. I'm with you, Chef Kevin. And also, like, for those freaking out about the draft pick, they weren't even supposed to have their first round pick this year. The worst case scenario was Aaron Rodgers got hurt after he played 65% of the snaps. This comment here from Alan is so stupid. Joe Alder, Olu Fashanu was ours. No, they weren't. You have no idea if they were even going to be there if the Jets lost today. You have no idea. And we have no idea if Alt or Fashanu are going to be better than J.C. Latham or the Oregon State tackle, Fuega. We have no idea. It's all about picking the right player. The Jets could have had Tristan Wirfs. They picked Mekhi Becton. I mean, like, just whining about winning today. It's clown behavior. Get over it. Your rooting interest couldn't affect the outcome of the game. The Jets were not going to lose on purpose. And if they did lose today, all these people rooting for them to lose would be killing Robert Saleh for losing. The big fella, Belichick, now has the most losses in NFL history. That he does. F the Pats and those Beantown scumbags. The streak is over, and today's a great day. Boston sucks. Streak is over. Belichick walks off the field for the last time, losing to the Jets. 4-13. Stuck it. That's how I'm choosing to deal with today. Doug on the couch. Hello, Douglas.
How you doing today, Jake?
I'm good, Doug.
You know, firstly, I'm going to go with the positives. We hadn't beat the Jets since I was, in my junior year of high school. Junior.
You mean the Patriots?
Yeah, I want to be the Patriots. Sorry.
No.
That's how long it's been. So, it's nice to finally beat that and that streak. Looking back on the year, there's 3 games I really look back on if they just flipped in one other direction, or maybe even 4, but 3 main games that if they had won that, we're talking about playoffs right now. The 3 main games is the first Patriots game, the Raiders game, and the Falcons game. And then if you want to add a 4th, it'd probably be the Chiefs game, but the rest were never going to let us win that game. So that's
They're
why
not that far away when you really think back on some of these games, man. I mean, the Falcons game is a great example. I think I'm with you with the top 3. First Patriot game, Raider game, Falcons. Rodgers wins all 3 of those games easily. You're 10-7.
Say if CJ Uzomah doesn't have that hold down by the goal line, Jets win that game against the Raiders.
Yep.
Jets start probably anybody else besides Tim Boyle. They beat the Falcons. And then if anyone else besides Zach Wilson starts that first game with the Patriots, I think we beat the Patriots. So, and I think if those 3 games are reversed, we're in the playoffs or we just missed out on the playoffs. So it's, when they say it's a game of inches, it truly is a game of inches. It sucks to be here. Another season ending, not in the playoffs. But I'm with you. I'm happy with the win. End the season with a win. It's a good feeling for the players. like I get the super chat earlier. I get the feeling they're going to franchise tag Huff because I think he's going to ask for a lot of money. But the only thing is, I think the Jets are going to see what Josh Allen gets because he's also on the free agent market and he's going to get at least $100 million, I think, because he had a ridiculous year. Or the Jaguars are going to try and tag him too. So those are the two big pass rushers on the market this off season. And then I think Allen. I don't know if you know this, but Allen has a time machine, so he does know that we missed on Joel Olufacanu. That's how he knows that they were ours. But again, the draft is a crapshoot. Because everyone knew Puka Nacua was the best receiver in the draft, right? That 4th round pick. Everyone knew, right? Everyone knew he was going to set the receiving records for a rookie. Who do you got tomorrow night?
Dude, if the draft was an exact science, Jalen Reagor wouldn't have been selected before Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Who do you think wins tomorrow night between Michigan and Washington?
I'm leaning Washington, Doug. I might go to the game, too. I haven't decided if I'm going to pull the trigger last second because I'm here in Houston.
I would prefer Washington to win because Michigan fans just annoy the crap out. They're like Patriot fans. They annoy the crap out of me. The thing is, Michigan can just run the ball down Washington's throat is the thing and just not have Penix have the ball is my concern if you want Washington to win. But that offense is so electric and he has a very good O-line. So I think it'll be a good game though.
It should be. I mean, they've been counted out all year, Washington. They get no respect. They were a double-digit underdog to an Oregon team in the Pac-12 title game they already beat. And then beat them badly. So, I don't know. It should be a good game tomorrow now. I'll tell you that much. I'm excited. And then the Texans won the division. So, NRG is hosting a playoff game probably next Saturday against the Browns. So, you got the national title game tomorrow here in Houston. And then the following Saturday, you got Joe Flacco versus CJ Stroud. Super chat from Joey. The draft's a crapshoot. Good GMs find talent. Yeah, I mean, Joe Douglas has hit on high picks. He's missed on high picks. You got to pick the right players. John writes in, F them picks. You aren't a Jets fan if you wanted them to lose today. No clue if that quarterback's going to be good. Bye-bye, Bill. F the Pats and F them picks. Also, the idea that the Patriots draft a quarterback and that quarterback is good. They just drafted Mac Jones, who sucks. You have no idea if these quarterbacks are going to be good or if they're going to be bad. You have no clue. Which is why I'm not going to get that worked up over it when the Jets winning is somehow going to be construed as a bad thing. Stop it. You ended a hideous losing streak. You finished with 7 wins, winning 3 of your last 5. With the worst quarterback play in the NFL, the worst O-line in the league. You still have a top 5 defense. There's some things with this team I could point to and be excited about next year. Do I have questions about the coach? Yeah. Do I think Rodgers helps the Hackett scenario? I do. Do I still want staff changes? Yes, but I'm going to focus on some of the positives today because it's been a nightmarish season. We got time for one more call on what is our final postgame show of the Jets season. Always bittersweet. One of these days we'll do a postgame show after the regular season ends, and we'll be gearing up for the playoffs the following week. Wouldn't that be nice? Better be next year. JJ's up next on our show. Hello, JJ.
What's going on, my friends?
JJ, are you on a darkness retreat?
No, I'm actually sitting outside of my house. I have a couple of blocks from my house. I have this great view of the New York City skyline. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see that.
We can't really see it. It's a little blurry.
All right. Whatever. That's not the point. The point is I had to go get some fresh air because I'm sitting here watching your show and I'm just getting so frustrated because I don't hear enough outrage from just everyone about what's going to happen next season. I'm sorry to tell everybody this, but we are not going anywhere next year because the coaching staff that we have and the head coach that we have is incompetent. I know that there's this debate who's more to blame. Is it Joe Douglas or is it Robert Saleh? Here's what I'll say. With all the failures Douglas has done, and I'm not a Joe Douglas fan at all, he's put together a good enough roster that we should be at the very least, wild card playoff team, or even in the hunt up until this point. The problem is the head coach he chose is not able to get anything from the offensive side of the ball. Now, what we're hoping is gonna happen, a lot of these fans, is that Aaron Rodgers is gonna come and save us next year. And because he knows Hackett, he's going to make Hackett look better because he knows the system and all that stuff. None of that's going to happen. And I hate to be the negative person, but Jake, I tried to tell you this after Robert Saleh's first year as a head coach of the Jets. He just has too many flaws that this team is never going to win a Super Bowl under him. Now, I'm the type of person, I will go play the lottery, and I will hope and pray that I win. But realistically, I know I'm probably going to lose. It's the same thing with the Jets. I'm still a Jets fan, and every game I'm still going to be there supporting this team and hoping and praying that we win and make it to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, if we just deal with the facts is we are the most penalized team, especially on the offense side of the ball, in the league. That has nothing to do with a starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers coming in is not going to automatically change the discipline on this team. We've called out Robert Saleh time after time for not disciplining players and not holding them accountable and all this type of stuff. It's like so alarming that there's not more outrage that we have to deal with this crap next year, because I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry, but Aaron Rodgers, it was a failure, and I don't need to wait till next year for us to potentially miss the playoffs or miss the wild card to know that this is going to be a failure. I don't like. You can clearly see where this team is going next year, and anybody who wants to hold on to hope, I'm not telling you not to, because I mean this is the facts. This is what we have to deal with. But at the same time, he's 41 years old. He's coming off a torn Achilles. He has probably one of the worst head coaches in the league, and especially the worst offensive coordinator in the league. And we think this guy is going to be able to win a Super Bowl with this. I say, personally, it's time that we cut our losses with the Aaron Rodgers thing. I know you want to see it. I already know you want to see it play off. You want to at least give them their chance. But why are we going to waste another year? Why? Why are we going to waste another year?
Because, JJ, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? I mean, God, that is just such a lame call. They won 7 games, JJ. They have Aaron Rodgers coming back next year. If you don't think this fan base has a right to at least be hopeful that, hey, things could be different next year, I don't know what to tell you. They won 7 games at the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Do I have major questions about the head coach? Yeah, I do. But I'm not blowing the whole thing up before I could see Aaron Rodgers play. You act like him coming back means that they're guaranteed to miss the playoffs again next year. That's not true. You're already giving up on next season before you see what improvements they make in the offseason. I'll tell you what, JJ, they run back the same roster, then yeah, I'll have concerns. I'll be right there with you. But they're going to at least try to improve the team. We got to hope it works. But God, I mean, you want to blow the whole thing up? What's the alternative? I'm with you. I don't love the idea of Robert Saleh being back, and I don't have a ton of faith in him. But, like, you're giving too much of a pass to Joe Douglas. And also, the penalty stuff, if you don't think Aaron Rodgers helps with the penalty stuff, you haven't been watching football, dude. Come on. You don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to help with the pre-snap penalties at the line of scrimmage? A lot of the penalties happen because of all the quarterback changes, because the guys out there, Zach Wilson, didn't know how to adjust protections and get guys in the right spot. Rodgers is calling his own offense next year. It's like what Manning did in Denver, what Brady did with the Bucs. That's the Jets next year. So, yeah, look, if you want to fade the Jets and say it's probably not going to work, you're going to end up more likely than not being right, because they haven't won a Super Bowl since before the moon landing. So, yeah, congratulations. You'll probably be right if your bold take is the Jets probably won't win a Super Bowl with Robert Saleh. But, man, I got to hope going into next year that things could be different. Did the Texan fan think they were winning the division this year with a rookie quarterback after they had the worst record in the NFL since 2020? Like, you never know, man. Like, if you want to blow the whole thing up now, you're not making the playoffs next year then. You have a path to the playoffs next season. We can't end on that call. Someone else needs to call back in to restore the vibes here on the postgame show. We can't end on that. The big fellow writes in, what's the show schedule now that the season's over? Monday through Friday, at least one show per day. When there's breaking news, we'll do multiple shows. But the plan is still to continue with at least one show per day, Monday through Friday, and probably at least one show on a Saturday or a Sunday, now that we no longer have the guaranteed post-game show built into the weekly schedule. So there still will be daily Jet content on the channel, and I'm going to be expanding to doing other New York sports content on the channel too. So make sure you subscribe and spread the word to all your Jet fans that this channel will still cover the Jets each and every day. Dre writes in with a super chat. Jake, please do not let that be the last call. JJ was terrible. Obviously, Aaron hurt, and the bad O-line is Salah's fault. Bad take, bad fan. Look, I have my doubts on Salah, but to act as though this team wouldn't be better if Aaron Rodgers was healthy, like what JJ was just doing there, I think is a little naive. Brandon says, Jake, that's wild. The Texans are good because they drafted a great quarterback. Yeah, and the Jets' great quarterback that they had this year lasted 4 plays, Brandon. All right? What do you think the Texans' record would be if Davis Mills played the entire year? Oh, you know what it would be? Worse than the Jets, because the Jets have more talent than the Texans. So your quarterback still matters. Do I have questions about the coach? I do. But are we going to sit here and act like having great quarterback play doesn't make a coach look better? Look at Belichick. What has he won since Brady left? Brandon says, because he's 41, Jake. Couple things, Brandon. 1, he's 40. All right? He's a man. He's 40. And 2, are we going to act like Aaron Rodgers can't be good because he's 40? You kidding me? What'd Brett Favre do during his age 40 season in Minnesota? What'd Brady do during his age 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45 season? Aaron Rodgers, who takes care of his body as well as anyone in the NFL, who's already about to be 100% healthy coming off this Achilles injury he suffered on 9/11, going to have a full off season to get ready to roll for next year. We don't think after a year where he didn't take any hits, he can't still be a very good quarterback next year? Come on now. You want to be negative, Brandon? That's your right. You do that, buddy. But the idea that Aaron Rodgers can't be good at 40 is stupid. And then your take's going to be, oh, those are literally the only examples, Jake. Well, yeah, here's the thing, Brandon. The examples I'm giving you are first ballot Hall of Fame players, which Aaron Rodgers is. So if I'm going to bet on someone, I'm going to bet on Aaron Rodgers. As long as his arm still could function and his mind still can function, he could be good, even if he's not as mobile as he once was. James is up next, hopefully to redeem us and restore the vibes. James, what do you got?
Jake, what's going on, my brother? How you?
What's up, James?
Hey, man, we smoking on that Belichick. We smoking on that Robert Kraft, Breece Hall, Beast, 190 performance. My brother's mad at me right now because he wanted the draft position, but I said this to him, just like you said this to all the audience, man. If Joe Douglas is a good GM, he'll find a way. He'll find a way. It's good to end the season on a high note, especially against that team that had a 15-game winning streak on us. It's garbage. Bye-bye, Belichick. We smoking, we celebrating all day, Jake. Go Jets.
Hey, good call, James. I'm with you. By the way, another old quarterback playing well. How's Joe Flacco at age 38? And let's remember, Aaron Rodgers is not your typical 40-year-old. He didn't play his first 3 years in the NFL. J.E. says, Jake is delusional. He said the same thing last year. If Aaron sucks next year, Jake will jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. J.E., I'm delusional for saying that the Jets, who won 7 games, despite having the worst quarterback situation in the NFL, that Aaron Rodgers won't make the team better next year. You know what you are? You're an imbecile. That's what you are. All right? If I'm delusional, you know what you are? You are an absolute buffoon.
We're always having fun, Rob. We're done being stressed about football.
And goodbye to all the Wilson truthers. Never return. All right? Stay in Utah. See you later. Cactus Johnny's up next on the show. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, Jake. Thanks a lot for all the content this season. It's been a rough year, but just so happy to be part of this community and find your channel. It's been one, along with Bruce Hall, probably the top bright spot of the season, I would say.
I appreciate you, Johnny. Thanks for the kind words.
And I would also just want to say I really needed this win today. We did, both me and my son. just so that the JJ voice in my head could get a little quieter and the Mr. Bonesy voice in my head could get a little louder going into the offseason. He just couldn't have needed some positivity to end the season and go in and be a believer for next year. And real pumped that we were finally able to beat the Pats, end that streak, send Bill out with a loss, give him the most losses of any head coach in NFL history. I think it's very fitting that we were the one to hand him that loss. And, hopefully address the O-line and get a competent backup QB in here for next year.
Hey, I'm with you. And you just got to hope that they get some better injury luck and they can prove the doubters wrong, because I understand why people are skeptical. But, Johnny, let me ask you this. What's your son's name?
Tommy.
Tommy, are you happy the Jets won?
Yes.
Love it. Love it. That's what it's all about, baby. Appreciate you guys making the call. I mean, enjoy the win. We don't get a lot of them, man. Forever Ron with a super chat. Got me a fresh bottle of Henny to celebrate Brees cementing the W on the FF finale and today's W. Fantasy football, I'm guessing. So Brees got you. So Brees won you your fantasy championship, if I'm understanding the super chat. Forever Ron. Congrats to you. Nothing better than sending off Belichick with a fat L. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm not going to sit here and complain that the Jets beat the Patriots. I'm not going to do it. Snowball says, do you have underdog bets for tonight's game? I'll put them in the Discord if I do, Snowball. I haven't looked at the slips yet. Let's see. Look at Allen trying to be negative. Henny for 7 to 10. Do Met fans get Henny for 79 and 83? He clearly said in the super chat he got Hennessy to celebrate winning his fantasy football championship. But Allen, always looking for the negativity, always looking for a reason to try and tear down his own fan base, decided to try and slip this one in. See you later, Allen.
All of you delusional Jets fans need to know that I am the king of stupid town.
All right, I'm back. I had some audio issues there. I don't know what happened. Maybe Allen tried to strike back after I sent him the super stupid town there. Let's see. Dre writes in with a super chat. JJ is a terrible fan, but still better than Allen. And by the way, what's up with Neil talking crap about my beard? I forgot that Neil did that, Dre, but I thought it was more Matt O'Leary that he was talking crap about. Let's see. There was a super chat from JJ somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here it is. JJ coming after me now. I love Jake, but he's a Jets stan. He supports every decision the Jets make till he sees how it plays out. Optimist, but we all see what's coming. That's just blatantly not true. Like, JJ, you've been watching the show this is the third full season I've had this show for. So I'm not even going to acknowledge that because that's just blatantly not true. Not true at all. But I appreciate the super chat. This will go to the Chipotle fund tonight. All right, I got time for 2 more calls. We got Jet fan royalty on the line. One of our 3% of female viewership. Aurora is up next. Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
Drinking Allen's tears? That is great.
Yes. So I went to the Dallas bar here, and it was very lit. Tons of Jets fans turned out for it. We all got different T-shirts as well that said like the Jets logo on it, DFW. So it was really cool. I was kind of nervous though by like around like the fourth quarter-ish time, because I think it was like 6-3 at that point, and I was like, I hope the Jets don't fuck this up. I don't want them to, because we missed the field goal. I'm like, I feel like that field goal is going to come back and haunt us. They're going to make a wild comeback. It's going to be like the Patriots game all over again when Zach Wilson, when he was up in Foxborough, where we lost on that touchdown. So I was kind of grateful that we were able to do that. And I saw on the Discord that Huff's not going to take a discount. So that's it's going to be very unique on how they're going to address that situation with Huff right now.
And he shouldn't take a discount either. Like he shouldn't.
He shouldn't.
He should get as much money as he can. I just hope the Jets pay him, which I still think, if I had to guess, they'll find a way to bring him back.
Yeah, I think so. I think if they're probably gonna tag him, and if anything, they might trade him to get something. Which honestly, that's okay. Like I have confidence in this like coaching staff to build up the defense, because they've shown that they were able to like coach them up in the right way and everything like that. But I mean, offensive wise, this just has to be very focused on the offense. You gotta protect Aaron Rodgers. You gotta sign a competent backup. Simple as that. Feed Brees. Brees was amazing today. I'm actually going to probably purchase a Brees jersey here soon.
Hey. Well, make sure you get the legacy ones, because I think these are the last. Today was the last time we see the god awful current jerseys they have.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Garrett Wilson in 5 as well, because I've been kind of waiting to get Garrett Wilson as well, because I'm like kind of want his number he's going to switch to instead of 17. So
he told me it's going to be 5 for what it's worth. So we'll see.
So, but anyway, it was a good win. Let's just go in the offseason with a positive, and that's it.
Appreciate you. Great call. How about this? A back-to-back of our 3%. We got Leany in North Carolina, who I believe is calling in for the first time since the post-game show the night of the Browns game. Hello, Leany.
Hello, Jake. Aurora, I love you, girl. Good call. I wasn't going to call in, but I had to after with JJ. JJ, I love you, dude, and you're such a cutie. But you're so wrong, okay, with Jake. Okay, what you're saying about Jake is so wrong. Okay, Jake, you're real, and you always say just like it is. Whether if they do something good, you'll say the Jets did something good. If they did something bad, you'll come out and you'll call them on it and tell them that they're bad.
Like, and also, he's like, you're an optimist. Yeah, I try to be optimistic when I can. It's hard to be optimistic though about a team that's missed the playoffs 13 years in a row. But I don't believe in like it's doom and gloom always, because like I just watched the Texans make the playoffs when they've had the worst record in football since 2020. Like it can be done. They could have Aaron Rodgers back next year and be a good team. Like it's not the craziest scenario that happens.
Exactly. Oh, and I was so happy for the Texans and the fans and Stroud. I think I'm going to they might be my AFC team that I'm cheering for. But I thought that was great. But yeah, I mean, JJ, you're just off on that. We have to look at the positives. Check. We finally beat the Eagles. Check. We finally beat Belichiat. That's not what I call him. But anyway, we beat him. You know what? And next season, check. We're finally going to make the playoffs. We have to. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do much better. He's going to bring the team. I was happy with the win today. I was happy with the how the defense played. They came out to play, and they did not give up. And that has to be. I'm not saying that I agree with everything JD did and everything Saleh did, but I want this regime back. Not everybody, I don't like Hackett either. But anyway, but I want Saleh and JD back. I want the season we were supposed to get. Let's do it with Aaron Rodgers next year. And it's either we make the playoffs. If they want to say we make the AFC Championship game, that's fine. But we have to roll with it and cross our fingers that we'll finally get to the promised land. It's been a long time. And I have to say, out of 54 years, I've been through a lot. this has been the most disappointing season of my Jet tenure. I just all the stuff with Aaron Rodgers, and then 4 plays in, and he's kaput. So I don't know. Cheers to everybody. I love the Discord, Jake. You know that I love you. I love everybody. JJ, I love you too. Alan, I love you too. I don't care. People are negative. I think you're too negative, but I like everybody's take. We have a great thing here.
Come on.
And let's
You
just
like
go.
Alan's take? No, you don't. Come on. Nobody likes Alan's take.
Well, I don't love them. Say I can tolerate them. How about that? But everybody has their own opinion. And I'm not saying you're a bad Jet fan or you're a good Jet fan. I cannot cheer for a loss. I just can't do it. I can't boo for my team. I'm like my dad. He's old school, and I just learned from him. So I just can't do that. So I'm not saying JJ's not a fan. He pays to go to the games. But you're just a little too negative, JJ. I want to give you a hug, and I do think you're a cutie. So
I love it.
But thanks, everybody. I love you.
Leanie, cheers to you. Great call. How about that? The 3% female audience, step it up, providing some rational takes. Love to see it. Shane's a Patriot fan who's watching on Twitter. Thanks for the number 3 pick. What's it like knowing the Patriot way is a sham? That would be my response. Mike's up next on the show. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Jake. Thanks for having me on. Just got back from the game. Spent the time kind of freezing my booty off out there.
Oh, my
and
God.
I will tell everybody there it was worth the win. It is worth the win from 7 to 9. Oh, no, a pick could be a total crapshoot. Who's there? You take the best one available. You know what you got to get. To see all of those dudes around there going in, oh, I hope the Jets win, I hope the Jets win. And then seeing them so mad walking out, that made it worth the freezing the entire game off. So I will say I missed most of the show because I just walked in the door from the stadium. So I'll get caught up on the rest of it. I just want to let everyone know it was worth it. It was worth that 1 or 2 or 3 pick drop, whatever we get. It was even though it was sloppy, we get it. It was a sloppy game. That's the way it was. Just to finally cross that hump. And now next year when it comes around, that's not the storyline when it comes to play them again. It's getting back on track. Aaron Rodgers, win football games, get to the playoffs. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was worth it there. So, anyone that's sitting there saying, "Oh, we blew it because we lost," I don't know. Like I said, I missed the show. Don't know what people have said, but I just wanted to let you know it really was worth it. That's really all I
I'm
got. I
glad
know
you
you're
got
trying
to
to
go,
wrap
Mike.
it up.
Were there a lot of Jet fans there? What was the environment like?
So I saw I live in Massachusetts, so I go to a lot of the games that are at Foxborough anyway. So it's about the same number of Jets people I saw there. The ratio was way different though. A lot of empty seats, and it was nice to fist bump a bunch of guys walking by, and it really was a good time. So, and I will say this too: no matter what anyone said before the game, you hear the boos, you hear them really rooting on the Patriots to win that game. So, if they say, "Oh yeah, thanks for the number 2, number 3 pick," the people in the building would be lying to you if they said that's what they wanted by the end of the game. So, I just want everyone to keep that in mind and take the wins when they come, because we need to start building a winning culture here, and it doesn't start till you start winning. And I know you're trying to wrap it up. Last thing before I say, hey, AFC Roundtable, they got these awesome T-shirts. So people go check that out on their little shop. Go grab one if you can. Pretty cool too.
Love it, Mike. I'm glad you got to go and see a win. I'll be on the AFC East Roundtable next Thursday, or the Jets AFC East Roundtable with Richie, Matt, and Ryan. Love to see it. Enjoy the win. That's all we can do. Danny Boy says, thanks for the amazing content. Danny Boy, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Got time for one last caller here. Before I do that, though, let me read 2 super chats. JJ going after Dre says, Dre's dumb. Stop mentioning me. You've been wrong about this team all year. You said Douglas is the best GM we had. Always wrong. Just like Mr. Bonesy. Damn. You know what I love about this? JJ submitting a super chat just for me to read him going after two two callers. Caller on caller crime. D-Max says, I hope we never have to mention Zach. The next time we mention Zach is when he's traded. Or cut. Hopefully traded because they could save more cap if they could trade him. JE says, Adam Gase won 7 games, Jake. Cool. Bill Belichick won 4 games. What's your point? Arizona Jet writes in, I hope Bill goes to another team and sucks. That's what I'm rooting for. Because then it makes him look even worse. His legacy stained even more. Because Brady hurts his legacy by winning immediately after he left. And the Patriots being dog crap in 3 of the 4 years after we saw Tom Brady leave. Him going somewhere else and failing, injected into my veins. I'm rooting for him to have nothing but the worst type of professional failure you can have. Let's go to Jorge for our final caller. Hello, Jorge.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up?
Happy New Year, first and foremost, and kind of wrapping up the season in a great way. And here's why I tell you, I'm single. I live by myself. I'm alone, and your show and all the other, but specifically yours, is always playing on my background for some reason because I like to hear your voice. I like to hear the comments. It's very entertaining. And it's very special the way that you've taken your program and made it a family program, but at the same time, active listeners and very active fans. You have a talent for that. About a year ago, I wrote you a message and I told you that you were going to be really doing well for yourself. I'm so happy to see you doing well. And I want to thank you.
Jorge. I appreciate the kind words, man.
Don't worry, man. And I tell you one thing. I really, you don't know how much I appreciate you and the fans that are behind there. I don't comment too much or call in too much because I usually don't have too much to say. But this time I just want to say, hey, we rolled with the punches with this year. We were dealt the cards we were dealt. Now what we have to do is keep our fucking heads straight, right? And make sure that we don't start eating each other up in the team or the coaches or the management. Just keep it steady. And I think the person that's going to help us keep it steady is going to be Aaron Rodgers because he's just Joe Cool, if you want to call him that. So I'm very appreciative of all the fans that are here. So I don't know you, but I'm very, very happy. And I love participating with you here, even though it's on the listening side. And Jake, to you, my congratulations. Lots of more success and health in 2024. You've well earned it. So thanks a lot, man. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being such a great supporter of the channel the last couple of years. And, that calls like that are awesome to hear because we have the best listeners, man. And I'll say the line I've said a lot this season in particular. The Jet organization doesn't deserve the Jet fan base because this fan base is special. Not even just the Jet fans who tune into my show every day. But think about it. I do a YouTube channel where 90% of my content is Jets. 35,000 subscribers. Like, that's how passionate this fan base is. It's incredible. And like the Jet fan is starving for a winning team. And hopefully next year we get that team because this year's been a year from hell. Not because of the 7-10 record. I've seen Jets teams that win 6 or 7 games before. I've seen it a lot over the last decade because of the expectations. And we never got to really see what this year was supposed to be because 4 plays in, everything changed. Altoona says, how do I get a cool blue wrench like Gator? Gator's an admin on the channel, so I believe that's how he has a cool blue wrench. Julio writes in with a super chat. Good call, Jorge. I agree 100%. Well done, Jake. I don't know, says, hopefully the Pats don't draft the quarterback and sign Zach. I hope Zach goes to the Patriots because I think Zach Wilson is a terrible NFL quarterback. And I would love nothing more than the Jet defense getting to play Zach Wilson in a game that counts. So please, if you're listening, Robert Kraft, when you're done getting your hand jobs from whatever massage parlor you're at, please sign Zach Wilson. I beg of you. How's that? Gator writes in with a super chat. Speak of the devil. Welcome to the longest offseason in sports. F all the other teams. You're the best, Jake. Blessed to know you. Cheers. Gator, you're a legend, man. You make these shows so much better with your creativity and everything you provide, man. So it's always great to work with you, and I can't wait for all the madness that's going to unfold this offseason. Oh, God. Dre has fired back. JJ, you are high, bro. Are both you guys watching? Can we settle this on the air? I got time to work this out on the air if you guys want to call back in. Keep my name out of your tinfoil hat-wearing mouth. You can't prove me wrong, and you're blaming the coach for the wrong crap. I never said JD was perfect, clown. Oh, my God. I mean, we need to get some Charles Gorman chicken soup, get you two on the show, and everyone needs to just calm down. We can't be at each other's throats. It's not even day one of the offseason. Raymond writes in, how Buffalo Cook got in the Pro Bowl instead of Bruce Hall? Because the Pro Bowl is a sham, Raymond. That's why. The only thing that matters is the All-Pro honors, which I hope Quincy Williams is an All-Pro because he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Leany says, Dre versus JJ. Dre says, let's go. I got time today. I mean, this is an off-season battle that's brewing. Rat Diddy says, we need Boy Green's dojo. You're not wrong. Is it possible that this is a live look of what Dre versus JJ would look like?
Into the Taekwondo! You gosh darn go!
You do nothing that isn't clown behavior. Stop crying because I unfollowed you and do something original for once.
All right, JJ has called in. Dre, where are you? Let's go. Let's settle this. Here we go.
I just want to remind people, right? And this is all I'm going to say. Dre can say whatever he wants about me, whatever. I'm not going to be negative about this, but I just want to remind people that Dre was the same person who sat here and said Joe Douglas is the best GM that we've ever had as an organization. This is a fact that he said this, right? I will find the episode and highlight it for you guys later on when I have some time. He said that. Mind you, Joe Douglas is the most losingest GM in Jets history. I can't even say the word. So I don't understand how a person who can be so wrong about just let's look at that. Is Dre there? Is it?
Oh,
I see his face. I don't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
I haven't spoken yet.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See, I'm listening to you. Go ahead. I said it. Name me one GM that has had better picks and brought better players than Joe Douglas.
Mike Tannenbaum.
Mike Tannenbaum, it was a suck-ass GM, had no talent. He was a salary capologist. That's it. That's all he ever was.
Okay. Jake, okay. I mean,
bro, you go on the wins and losses. You don't evaluate talent on wins and
losses.
No,
hold on. No, I'm asking you a question. Let me ask you a question, right?
Go ahead.
Because I'm a little confused if you really believe that Mike Tannenbaum didn't bring in any good draft picks, and if Mike.
Who did you pick?
All right. Okay. I'm done. I'm not gonna argue with you. You have a good night.
You can't, bro. You really can't.
You're right. I'm not gonna argue with somebody who doesn't even know. Like, if you don't even know anything about this team, if you don't remember us going back to two back-to-back AFC championships because of the play. Okay.
I've forgotten more games than you've seen. So stop right now. You a child. Stay in the child's place.
All right. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just telling you that you said that Joe Douglas is a better GM than Mike Tannenbaum, who under Mike Tannenbaum, I'm not going to go back and forth and give you every single pick that Mike Tannenbaum picked, because if you don't know,
give me one pick.
Okay, who's a better quarterback? Who was a better quarterback? Mark Sanchez or Zach Wilson? Who was the better quarterback?
Obviously Mark Sanchez.
Okay, so who picked Mark Sanchez?
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, so if my quarterback is better than absolute trash, that's a win for your GM? Are you bugging?
All right. Jake, have a good night. Everybody in the comments. I just want everybody in the comments to go back, because I'm not going to waste my time doing this. Go back and look at all the draft picks that Mike Tannenbaum picked, and then go and look at all the draft picks that your guy picked, and then you'll compare.
Touching the 2022 season. Bro,
okay.
We do this all day. Just on one draft season. Just on one.
Yeah, you're right. So then why does he lose so much?
Why do
so
we
why
lose so
why
much?
does he
Because
why does he have a losing?
It was not CJ Stroud. That's it. End of story. It's a quarterback-driven league. Joe Douglas with our number 2. That's it.
Okay, and why didn't he bring in a good backup?
What he should have done something. I'm not saying that he's perfect. That's where you got me fucked up. I'm not saying he's perfect. He made a mistake. He should have had a viable backup at the end of the fucking game. That was long enough. He was 4 plays in. He should have had a backup before the game was over. I'm not saying he's.
I don't. Okay, so then what are you trying to say? How are you defending this?
I'm not. I'm
what are you trying? How are you? Just explain to me.
Why?
Explain to me why you have such a.
Every time we talk and I say X.
Yeah, you're right. I just have one question.
And now I gotta convince you. You bugging. You still working. It's still both.
All right. I just want to know one thing. Why do you have such a high tolerance for failure?
Because I deal with fans like you every day.
Why do you have such a high tolerance for failure?
Why? Then why do you love the team? Why are you a fan of the team? Go root for somebody else.
I do love that about Jets fans. You know what I mean? They care so damn much. And this has been a shit season for sure. But we will be back. Hell yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers summed it up perfectly. We Jet fans care so damn much. The offseason started 2 hours ago. And Dre and JJ are at each other's throats. We will be back, Jet fans. We will be back. One last super chat. Seth says, JJ's trash take is below the show. JD is, in fact, the best GM the Jets have had. Trade dominance alone. UDFA success, please. I don't think Douglas is a great GM. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's somewhere in the middle. He bungled this year. He's getting a redemption year. He has to be good this offseason. We'll judge the tenure of Joe Douglas based on what the 2024 Jets are like. If they don't make the playoffs, he's going to be viewed as a bad general manager who had a great draft. That's his legacy. That's where I'm at with Douglas. He's had some good moves. He's had some atrocious moves. This offseason will define him. And that kind of sets it up perfectly because the Jets are now entering the most important offseason in franchise history. The playoff drought has added another year to it. The expectations going into the year immediately could not be met 4 plays in, which now ramps everything up into this offseason. I would say we had a split decision in that back and forth between Dre and JJ. I appreciate the passion by both, and I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Another fun post-game show. Please hit the like button if you haven't, Jet fans. And I beg of you to spread the word to all of the fellow Jet fans that we'll talk Jets every day on the channel. Share this on your Jet Facebook pages. Post it on Twitter, Instagram, the whole thing. Like and subscribe. And reminder to join our Patreon this offseason to get bonus content away from YouTube. It's just $5 a month. But if you sign up for the year, you save 15%. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Get this show on Apple or Spotify. Get your name in the intro. Get yourself access to the Discord. Find out about listener events. Find out about giveaways. Our Super Bowl Squares contest will be in there and a heck of a lot more. So once again, just want to thank all the supporters who support me on YouTube and, of course, on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who's tuned in to the 17 post-game shows we've done during the regular season and the 4 we did during the preseason. So 21 post-game shows this year on the channel. And they were always a lot of fun, win or lose, because we're talking Jets football with our Jet family here. So thanks again to everyone. Sincerely appreciate the support. I'm back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern with Will Parkinson in his weekly spot to talk more about this win today and the Jets offseason tomorrow. We know Saleh is speaking tomorrow. We know Rodgers probably is speaking tomorrow. We know Joe Douglas will speak at some point this week. So it is going to be a crazy, crazy week of content. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Once again, thanks to everyone for the support. Thanks to all your super chats. And I just want to say, once again, on behalf of all my fellow Jet fans, to quote Aaron Rodgers, we will be back. We will be back. That's going to do it for me. Once again, thanks to everyone who tuned in. Go Jets. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Jets, 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 Jets.
Hey, Robert, thanks for taking my question. With Zach starting again Sunday, does he have any compromising photos of you or someone else in the organization?
No, it's a fair question, Jake. I'm going to take the fifth on that one.
What the hell is this going backwards bullshit? You don't go backwards. You throw the ball out of bounds with your big goddamn arm, and you go back in the fucking huddle.
No, it's a fair question, Neil.
This is bullshit.
Jose Feliciano, the blind Puerto Rican guitarist, can see that he is terrible.
This kid does not want to run with the ball.
Are you kidding me? This is the shit I'm talking about. You bitch's ass. You did his ass on my damn field.
No, it's a fair question, King.
The third damn year we are seeing this in Naptown.
He's not trying to win the goddamn game.
You gotta be kidding me. Send his ass the fuck down.
I could have made 20 yards with that goddamn hole.
If your quarterback cannot play in the NFL, they get rid of him.
Oh, there's one of his 27 second throws. Oh, it's amazing. I don't give a shit.
If you cannot play football, get your ass off the field.
And walk around and wipe Rodgers' ass because that's all you're good for.
And you're sitting here defending this bullshit.
If I see Zach Wilson go on that field, me and Lowski are going on personally, and we're going to take his ass off the field.
It is torture, man.
God damn it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Jets.
You're a degenerate gambler, and you're in your mid-50s. Who bets on the Jets? Have you not learned anything about betting? The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back.
Hey, Bill's Mafia! You're in the wrong stadium, you friggin' a-hole!
You guys football fans? I think the Pats could take the conference this year. I mean, the Dolphins are overrated and the Jets are choke artists.
I wouldn't say that, Mr. Deeds.
Why is that, though?
You own the Jets, Deeds.
I do? Whoa. That sucks.
You think that scares me? I'm not scared of you, you pansy!
Yeah, I'll put my whole fist through your face, you friggin' a-hole!
Hey, keep moving, you hunk!
Who do you want to win?
The goddamn Jets.
Let's go to Lane, who's up next. Hello, Lane.
Hey, oh, hi.
Hello, Lane.
How is everything? Yes?
You're on the air, Lane.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Lane.
Hi. So, yeah, I'm happy about the way the Jets played today. And, you know, they moved the ball, and they did great. Look, okay. I mean, I know it was raining out. Did you see the game?
No, I didn't watch it. What happened?
Well, they won. And the other team lost.
Lane, thank you. Come on, man. It can't be a real call. Lane, call back anytime, man. The Jets won today, by the way.